free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost.
Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-251-8381. That's 800-251-8381. What do you have to lose? Call 800-251-8381. That's 800-251-8381.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Join us as we honor Baseball Hall of Famer and Phillies Wall of Famer Scott Rowland for the Toyota Scott Rowland Wall of Fame Salute on Friday, September 22nd at 7:05 before the Phils take on the Mets. Secure your seats at Phillies.com. The Mets are in town for the final home weekend of the regular season for a 4-game set against the Phils starting Thursday, September 21st through Sunday, September 24th. Get tickets now at Phillies.com.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Ignatius Church in Yardley with Dennis Horan and Brendan Donegan, Saturday, November 4th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Reunited and it feels so good. Reunited, Daniel, so it's understood. You're acting like you didn't miss me.
Oh,
we haven't been together, what, 2-3 weeks?
I was there. Are you waiting for something?
Yeah, I was waiting for some kind of reaction to my heartwarming, touching song that I'm opening tonight's Matt Rooney show with.
Oh, wait, hold on, I got you. Hold on.
Was that someone falling off of a roller coaster?
No, that was me. It's me screaming.
Oh, from your concert.
Yeah.
When you unmanned yourself in front of your girlfriend, the lovely Bella, and God knows how many other people.
A sold-out show at Camden, yeah.
The Satanist show, right?
Yeah.
If memory serves.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, none of that godlessness tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I am Matt Rooney, and we are back for another stirring edition of the Matt Rooney Show. Producer Dan and I reunited after being apart for a couple weeks now. Dan was not here on Labor Day weekend. He had a legit reason for not being here, but I couldn't remember. So I just kept saying that he was doing something I didn't know on Labor Day weekend, and people were reaching out wondering if something was wrong. Maybe it was the second stage of his top surgery for his gender transition.
It's actually what it was, exactly, yeah.
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 How'd that go, by the way?
I mean, so far so good. You know.
You look the same.
Yeah, well, they didn't really do much. They just said, nah. That's about it. No.
You wouldn't make a good girl or boy. They just don't know what to do with you.
You think so?
Just drop you off at the island of misfit toys.
Oh, boy. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But you're back. And then last weekend we had football.
We did.
So we were not here last week.
Nope.
The station had to play some football. But we are
like
here.
Men touching each other, you know?
Well, it's appropriate, I suppose, that you're being a little frisky, a little friskalicious at the beginning of the program here, because we're going to talk about some sexy topics tonight.
Well, William Kemp, right off the bat on YouTube, said the show is way better than Sunday Night Football. Don't leave us again. I was like, well, we don't have that decision, buddy. We don't have that decision.
It was totally out of our hands. Totally out of our hands.
Yeah.
Dan likes to think he's bigger than football, but he's not. They throw a lot more weight than Daniel does, all 125 pounds soaking wet.
I made this show. As Joe Biden once said.
Daddy owes you.
That's right.
Daddy does owe you. We've got some great Joe Biden quotes this week, too.
Like
boy.
His screaming fit.
Oh, boy. Do we have some Joe Biden clips in store for you all?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, we will do our best. And I think from here on out we do have some football Sundays coming up. But I don't have any vacations for a while. And Dan, I don't think, has any vacations for a while. So as we march towards Election Day, it's Election Day in just a couple months, don't forget. We will be here more often than not on Sunday night, 7 to 10, to offer all of the best witty, insightful, entertaining, sometimes painful, depending upon who's delivering it, but I think always good-natured, conservative information, entertainment radio that you could possibly hope for anywhere in these states united, let alone here in the Delaware Valley, which is our base of operations, so to speak. And tonight is no different. We do have some sexy topics in the first hour here, Dan.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're gonna get salacious.
Yeah, there's
some salacious things in our stack.
I have personal experience with some, I don't know how to describe it, but people were complaining about something along the lines of sexy over the weekend at my other job. So,
is your other job?
Yeah, so we can probably get into that too.
Things that were too sexy at your other job?
So I guess we'll get into it now.
Were you wearing your fishnets
no,
to work?
No, it's not me. It's not me. So
Well, hold on a second. Let me tease. Let's tease that.
Yeah.
Well, no, let me, because I never do what I'm supposed to do, and I should give people a little bit of an overview of the show for a minute.
Be a better host and do it.
And now they're excited to find out what happened at your work.
Yeah.
That's better construction of a show. That's a better format. And I should try to adhere to that from time to time. Before I do that, though, where can you listen to us? Obviously, the radio, as many of you are. But you can also go over to youtube.com/@1210 WPHT, where you can not only listen to the program, you can also watch and participate in the comment section, should you be brave enough. Usually gets pretty entertaining over there. Tonight, we've got a filthy pile of riches. An embarrassment of riches, some might say, in the guest department. We've got 4 guests tonight, which drives Dan nuts because that's airtime that he does not have.
4 too many.
Yeah, he'd rather have none. He usually doesn't like when we have people on. He's somewhat antisocial as regular
1 max.
listeners of the program. 1 max is what you like, and you like to keep it to about 8.5 minutes.
Yep.
But when we're not here for a week, because something happens, like I said earlier, maybe we get preempted, or maybe one of us is doing God knows what, there's kind of a guest glut that kind of builds up. It builds up in the piping of the program because things are happening.
No, I think
and people want to come on here and talk.
I think you just don't know how to say no to people.
No, that's not true.
No, you just can't be like, we'll push it back to some other week. You always want to get people on at the next week,
I say no to people for a living.
Yeah, well, you can't say no to guests, I always ask you. I'm like, hey, can we push him back to some other week? And you're like,
Well, maybe if a certain producer would take charge of the guest list.
you don't tell me who's. You literally just send me an email saying there's a guest. So
How about this? How about next week you're in charge of the guests?
you get all Jersey guests, so I don't know.
Well, I tend to get a lot of Jersey guests because there's a lot of news happening on this side of the river this year. But also, I'm from Jersey, so I know a lot of Jersey people.
You got the contact.
But we
so
have Pennsylvania guests. We had a Pennsylvania guest last week.
I wasn't here.
We had the DA. We had the Republican DA candidate in Delaware County. Had a great talk about crime.
Nice.
Yeah, things happen when you're not with us. Even though we miss you, we don't just sit around and have a pity party and cry and braid each other's hair and eat Haagen-Dazs.
Honestly, it's probably better.
With the show without you?
Well, no, you sitting around, braiding each other's hair, eating Haagen-Dazs. It's probably better.
Especially since it's with John Cole.
Yeah, exactly.
He's usually filling in when you're not here.
Exactly.
He has no hair to braid, but that's another story for another time. But in any event, you can go ahead and do the guests next week. But this week we've got some great guests that I'm excited that you're going to have an opportunity to interact with. Next hour, because we're on air for 3 hours, do not forget, we've got Congressman Chris Smith, who stood shoulder to shoulder with the hero of Sound of Freedom this past week to talk about a new bill that's designed to protect migrant children who, one of the things the Biden administration doesn't like to talk about, one of the byproducts of this open border that we have down in the southern states that border Mexico, those children in particular are extra vulnerable to human traffickers. And it's one of the great human tragedies of our time, and one of the many reasons why having an open border is absolutely insane and also immoral. Chris Smith's here to talk to us about just not that, but also what he's trying to do along with some allies and friends to make that situation a little better. We'll also be joined in our final hour tonight. The final hour, Dan, the 9 o'clock hour, is the Guestorama, which will lead into Twit Talk. So don't worry, you're going to have your 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the show so you don't have to feel like we completely boxed you out. Your ego will be satisfied. We have Sussex GOP chairman. He's the chairman of Sussex County's Republican Party in New Jersey, Joe LaBarbera. He made news this week. You might have actually seen him on Fox for his anti-Phil Murphy billboard, which is, have you seen this yet, Daniel?
No.
It is, I'll show you when we have a break. It is a sight to behold. I won't tease it now. We'll get back to that a little bit later, but he commissioned this billboard, and it's making not just local news, but national news. We'll talk about that in the 9 o'clock hour. And we will also be joined by two friends of the program who've been with us many times before, Jacqueline Tobacco and Frank Capone. You know them as members of the Middletown, New Jersey Board of Education. That is Phil Murphy's adopted hometown in New Jersey. That's where the governor lives. It is one of the school districts in New Jersey that the Murphy administration is suing for the crime of attempting to inform parents when a child wants to change their gender preference at school. So just to explain briefly, if, let's say, Dan goes to school and tells his teacher, I feel more comfortable being known as Daniela, and I want to use the girls' room, and I want to use we pronouns. Middletown wanted to let the parent know and say, hey, this is what's going on with Dan. He now wants to be Daniela. He's Daniela, the producer.
It's happened multiple times.
It's happened multiple times. Yeah, it's happened here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've gone up and I said, hey, Daniela, please.
Yeah, and around here we have a way of handling that. I just slapped you.
You throw me in the closet with spikes.
Yeah. And then you came to your senses and, the show goes on.
Yep.
In New Jersey, Phil Murphy's Attorney General's office promptly sued Middletown, along with some other school districts, to force them to comply with its own guidance. And there's some updates in that regard. So we're looking forward to talking to Frank and Jackie a little bit later in the program. Jam-packed as promised. I always over-prepare for this program because I am excited to talk to you. You're making time to spend 3 hours with me on a Sunday night. I'm gratified. I want to make it worth your while. And you can call in the old-fashioned way, too. 855-839-1210 is the number should you wish to participate. And many of you are already participating over on YouTube at our 1210 YouTube channel. Gmail. Hello, Gmail. One of our regs. Is that a Gen Z thing, like a reg? Like calling somebody a reg instead of a regular? No? Well, I'll do it anyway. One of our regs says, Ben & Jerry's taste way better than Haagen-Dazs.
I agree.
But aren't Ben & Jerry anti-cop commies?
Who cares?
What do you mean, who cares?
I don't care. If the product's good, I'm still going to use it.
It's not good enough to not care about that, though. No,
Ben & Jerry's is definitely good. I mean, I haven't had it in a while, but Ben & Jerry's is great. Good.
Well, being an unapologetic little bit of a yuppie myself, I much prefer something like Talenti. I like getting myself.
Oh, so you're bougie.
Yeah, I'm a little bougie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A little bougie. I prefer to have something like that anyway.
I just have Giant name brand in my freezer right now.
If I'm going to... Giant
brand, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, every man.
The cheapest one.
Okay, Dan the plumber.
The cheapest one I could afford.
Cheapest one you could afford?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, don't we have, like, government ice cream around here we give to the producers?
No. Here's a bag of dog food for you.
Yeah. They line up every Christmas, like Downton Abbey, and we hand out, government cheese to all the producers. They kind of walk around in a little circle. It's adorable.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah. Secret Squirrel. Hello, Secret Squirrel. I haven't seen Secret Squirrel in a while.
He's around.
Yeah. He pops up in the morning sometimes when I fill in for Kale and Company. Dan, in any event, your story.
Oh, my sexy tease story?
Yeah, I went and I did what I'm supposed to do. I laid out the show for everyone, and then we forgot.
So we started our Halloween event on Friday, right? And there's this show that we have.
We'll give everyone a little background. You've got another job since I pay you so terribly.
Yeah, I have another job. I've been at this job since 2017, I think. Every year we do a Halloween event, big Halloween event. We started that Friday, and we have a new a show. And it's Halloween, and it's a PG-13 event. So there's PG-13, like, I don't know, coincidences in there, or it's a PG-13 rated show. So the whole point of the show is to be a little bit sexy, all that kind of stuff. And there was Karen's on one of the Facebook groups bitching and moaning, saying, why is this a thing? Why are we allowing kids to have this? It's too sexy. Like, why are we allowing this and all that?
It was too sexy.
Yeah.
And what was the sexy element again, just so I understand?
I don't really know. It's kind of like a...
Were some of the...
It's kind of like a...
female monster actors dressed a little too provocatively?
No, it's kind of like a burlesque type stuff.
Like Elvira? Do you know who Elvira is?
Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of thing?
Yeah, essentially that. I mean, they're really not in, like, skimpy clothing. I mean, they have, like, fishnets and typical Halloween stuff on, but there's some instances of lap dances and
That's
stuff
interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Alec Baldwin. There's some instances of, like, lap dances and stuff like that, but, I mean, there's clearly a warning online saying, hey, this, like, parental consent, like...
To get a lap dance?
Like, be aware, like, this might be something in the show, but they're like, you shouldn't have that at a family park. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a big uproar about that.
I've been on many haunted hay rides, and I've never gotten a lap dance.
No, neither have I. But it's only the performers giving each other. It's not really giving someone a lap dance. It's just they're dancing on a chair. That's pretty much what it is.
Gotcha. So they're not dancing on the guests. And what time is this?
The event starts at 7, and there's a show about every hour.
All right.
It's like 20 minutes long.
See, I guess you could have some younger kids at the earlier.
Well, the event's not for
the program.
The event is not it's advertised for no one under the age of 13. So anyone under the age of 13 shouldn't go to the event.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't had your first lap dance by 14,
that's what I'm saying. And they can choose to watch a show if they want. So they openly stood there and watched the show, and they were complaining about it was way too sexy for a 13-year-old. And I was like, well, 13-year-olds nowadays are chopping off their penis. So what's the point?
It is funny.
Yeah.
Because some of the same people, and you're exactly right, that are complaining about it, I bet you have no problem with a kid popping hormones to change their gender or removing their breasts.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think the show is fine. I'm not going to sit here and be like, the show sucks. It's a good show. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not. They put a lot of work into it. I know a lot of them who are a part of it since I've worked with them, or I still do. And they're just doing it because they're performers. That's pretty much what it is. It's just entertaining.
Were any of them Susanna Gibson by any chance?
No.
No? Not a single one?
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, don't have to apologize. I'm not going either way. Well, maybe I should. Maybe I should go see you at your other job.
As I walk around and do nothing.
Nah, that's not true. You contribute mightily to any enterprise you're a part of.
Actually, true. I've
Much like Susanna Gibson. She's a hard-working lady.
I've built a couple.
Both on and off the campaign trail.
Yeah.
Both in front and not in front.
You know, for it's honestly
of the chatterbait.
Yeah, it's kind of disgusting.
Camera.
It's kind of disgusting, but like, drop the link. You know, I don't want to see it, but like, let me just see the link real quick. You know.
The best thing about this, we're going to take a break, but we'll talk more about this in a minute. She is now complaining, at least through one of her attorneys. I was reading this the other day. This Virginia candidate who apparently was making sexy time videos with her husband on the popular adult. How do I describe this, Dan? Popular online sex website, Chatterbait.
Yeah, it's an adult live webcam.
It's an adult live webcam site.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's putting these pictures up of her and her husband, these videos up of her and her husband engaged in, full-on pornographic sex acts. And then they're complaining that the release of them is revenge porn and is actually a criminal act, which my concept of revenge porn is you're dating someone.
And you break up and then you...
Right, and then you had some private photos and then you go post them all online, which we can talk about how wise it is to give somebody nude photos. That's a whole other discussion for another time.
Which would also be blackmailing, but...
Right, but here, you're a candidate for office that took videos of yourself, streamed videos of yourself online for the general public to make money. Yeah. Can you rightly complain that people are now posting images or clips of it?
So the way that works is everything that goes to that website is technically copyrighted. So like you can't just go on there and take a screenshot or record your screen and like record it and send it out. That's technically illegal.
All right, so I understand
because you're stealing someone else's work.
I understand the intellectual property angle.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm talking about whether or not it's revenge porn.
No.
No, it's not revenge porn.
It would be revenge porn if the person she was running against released it and those two did something, and then the person she was running against released it.
I see what you're saying.
Yes. That would technically be revenge
Or if
porn.
she broke up with her husband and
then her husband, yes.
Hey, opponent, here's some private videos that my wife and I took on Valentine's Day last year.
Release
when we had a babysitter.
Yeah, exposure and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're in agreement. It's always good when the show starts with Dan and I in agreement. 855-839-1210 is the number here on the Matt Rooney Show. As you can see, a jam-packed program of family fun. I think we're rated at least PG this evening, but that's okay. You're all big boys and girls. We think you can handle it here on 1210 WPHT. Quick break, and then we'll kick the show off in high gear in just a sec.
Dawn Stensland here. End your summer on a high note. You still have time to find yourself that newer certified luxury vehicle you've been wanting. Get it from my friends from Piazza Premium Automobiles. They're always here for you in your unique vehicle search. The Piazza Premium family featuring dealerships across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Newest location, Jaguar Land Rover, Harrisburg. So find your Alfa Romeo, Maserati, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Jaguar, or Land Rover at PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, or back that won't go away? Check out QC Kinetics. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
Don't forget, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. You can head over there right now and watch the show, not just listen to the show, and you can confirm that I am as handsome as I sound. Dan's not terrible in the eyes either, if we're being honest.
The nicest thing you ever said to me.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if Leo DiCaprio was Hispanic, emaciated, and poor.
I mean, I prefer Channing Tatum, but that works too.
Yeah.
But in the Magic Mike.
Magic Mike.
That's what I prefer.
Mystical Daniel.
Yeah.
If the lovely Bella is in the YouTube chat, I'm sure she has something to say about that one.
Fun fact, I am the one on the stage at my other job stripping. I don't know what to tell you. Fun fact, spoiler alert. Just going to point that out there.
You work at Chippendales, but it's not the normal Chippendales. With big beefy guys.
It's a family-friendly amusement park.
It's guys that strip that are the actual size of Chippendales from Rescue Rangers, the Disney cartoon chipmunks.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Very specific type of adult entertainment. And you do it so well. Over on YouTube, Robert Schwartz, I'm not sure about that. I think he's talking about whether or not it's revenge porn. We're talking about the Virginia legislative candidate that was doing the naughty with her husband on Chatterbait. Can't you post a snip of it, especially if there is no monetary... he's referring to whether or not it's a violation of her intellectual property rights or Chatterbait's intellectual property
Yeah, it
rights.
is, because she owns the property, Chatterbait owns the property, so if you post it without their consent, or if you post it without them knowing, that's illegal, because you're stealing it.
Yeah, I mean, hypothetically, if you go around posting clips of this program, I'd imagine it'd be a similar problem for you. It's as much as we love people sharing our stuff.
Right, because this show's an intellectual property of Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so there you go. See, we're learning something tonight already, and we just started. That's how the Matt Rooney Show works. We just open up your brain, and we just put that knowledge right in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the noise you make when you're putting knowledge in somebody's brain, too.
Well, that's the noise Susanna Gibson made when she was on Chatterbait, but that's besides the point.
You are so lucky, men.
Yeah, I guess. Her indignation, too, is so predictable, isn't it? That this is a war on women.
Who cares? Like, who cares? Her and her husband wanted to get, frisky, and they wanted to do it. Who cares? That's what I'm saying. Like,
but doesn't it cut both ways, then?
She's a grown woman. She can do what she wants.
You absolutely can do what you want, but then you can't get angry when people say, hey, I am now taking your adult public choice, and I am applying my values to it and making my own decision accordingly.
What do you mean by that?
So in other words, yes, in the strictly legal sense, you can do what you want, right?
Yeah.
You can have sex with your spouse and you could post it online.
Sure.
But then her constituents have a right to form a value judgment about it. And I still think there's probably a majority of voters in this country that think, you know what, even though something shouldn't necessarily be illegal, is it the kind of behavior we want in someone who's an elected official?
Well, yes, but that shouldn't be like, oh, don't vote for this person because they have live sex. Like, that shouldn't really be what they're running on. They can have that opinion all they want, but I'm saying, like, she can do what she wants if she wants to do it, and she knows she's running for office.
But do you see what I'm saying? There's a difference.
I absolutely get what
like,
you're saying.
I don't think that what she did should be necessarily illegal, but I also wouldn't want that in an elected official.
No, I totally get it, yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the left and those in the culture that want these things to be routine, unobjectionable, they want to at least weaponize it when it serves them to allege that a Democrat woman is somehow being persecuted, right? They're out in force today defending this Virginia legislative candidate. Meanwhile, Lauren Boebert is dressed up to the nines, the Colorado congresswoman, going to see a showing of Beetlejuice the Musical, which I did not know was a thing because I don't get out much having young children, but I guess it's a thing, Dan. They made a musical of Beetlejuice. She goes there with a young gentleman, or maybe not that young of a gentleman. Kind of hard to tell, and I don't think there's been much reporting on this. I guess it's a boyfriend.
Boyfriend, fiance, yeah.
And they're getting a little frisky.
Yeah.
In the aisle.
Yeah.
She's getting, well, let's just say what it is, right? She's getting felt up.
Do you flame him?
Well, look, hey, in public, again,
probably not the best in a theater.
Not something I really want to watch.
Right. Yeah. You can pull a Nancy Mace and be like, No, not in the morning, homeboy. No,
That's
no.
right. Nancy
Yeah.
Mace. Although I don't think Beetlejuice, I think it was at night. I don't think it conflicts with the prayer breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Lauren Boebert is getting raked over the coals. They're calling her trashy. She's trash. Oh, there she goes again, acting like a fool. She's an embarrassment to the people of Colorado. She is a stain on the United States Congress. I mean, yeah, she was. It looks to me as if, from what I can tell from that video that they took, it looks to me like she was not her best self that night. It screams to me of a midlife crisis. But you know what she wasn't doing? Having sex on Chatterbait.
So, another thing real quick. Robert Schwartz says, so how do you guys get away with the cut sheet, the morning show shows the view, all that kind of stuff? We have a service that provides all those clips. So the service is, we get the clips uploaded and we take them, which is fair use.
There's a fair use exception for news.
Fair use exception, so all of us is news. So yes, we have the fair use, but
right. So if I walk in the other booth right now and I kiss Dan on the mouth on live radio,
doors open if you want.
Well, if I didn't have a cold, I might. It's so tempting, and you wanted to then on your blog write a story. Rooney plants one on producer Dan. Rooney comes out on radio, announces that he loves his producer. That's fair use.
Yeah.
Because it's news. You're reporting on the news that I have announced that I love Dan.
Yes. Yeah.
We're doing a great job explaining this. We could teach a 1L law class.
We could.
We could.
And second of all, again, who cares what she does? There's a time and a place for everything. Do I think that she should have been fondled in a Beetlejuice musical? No, I don't. But again, like, people got lives outside of government, outside of Congress, and outside all this stuff. So, like, what she does in her free time, who cares? But she shouldn't have been, getting felt up in a theater. That's all I'm saying. I don't care what she does, but not in a theater.
Would you say, though, as a Gen Zer, let's take this story. Then there's the story we talked about a minute ago down in Virginia, and then out in South Dakota, where Governor Kristi Noem
was just found out having an affair.
Apparently, if you believe the stories, right, she is allegedly carrying on a very public affair with Corey Lewandowski, a former Trump advisor, right? And she's married, right? So I say affair. You don't believe it?
Nah, I don't know.
I mean, she hasn't denied any of it.
Yeah. If she hasn't denied it.
You denied it once when it was when she was confronted with it apparently a while ago, like back in 2001 or something like that. But there's a news story out the Daily Mail.
This affair's been going on for over 20 years.
No. Not the affair hasn't been going for 20 years. I'm saying that a number of years ago, I want to say like 2012. Did I say 2001?
Yeah.
I meant to say 2021. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, Washington Post fact checker.
That's a long affair, my
Dan's
guy.
in there giving me 40.
It's a long affair.
It's common law marriage in some states. 2021.
Okay.
But she hasn't denied this latest report from the Daily Mail, which is excruciatingly detailed. And you've since seen other people that are in and around the Washington, D.C. permanent political class coming out and saying things like, oh, yeah, worst kept secret in Washington, D.C. So you've got that story as well. So you've got a lot of people behaving badly.
Friskalicious is what I like to call it.
Friskalicious?
Yeah, I mean, look, you ever just want to get...
Scandalikeable?
You ever just want to get felt up at a Burger King? Because I do it all the time.
At a Burger King? You're a much cheaper date.
Yeah, you ever just want to get felt up at a Burger King? Be my guest.
You're
a
much cheaper date than Lauren Boebert's boyfriend.
Bro, Beetlejuice. Bella said
they went to Beetlejuice.
Yeah, but that musical's been out since 2018 is what Bella's saying. So, like, it's not anything new. Like,
I'm not as hip as you, Bella. We know that. That's,
I mean, musicals come and go, They come and go, just like Susanna Gibson's husband.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but, like, musicals just resurface. So, like, you might see one years ago, and it comes and it resurfaces again. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
but this is my point, though. Is it too much to ask that there is some expectation in 2023 that elected officials hold themselves to some kind of higher standard?
Probably.
But I will also say this, and I wrote about this at my website, SaveJersey.com over the weekend. How is it possible that Lauren Boebert, who we know the media hates, we know the deep state doesn't like her, we know that she offends the beautiful people, right, regardless of what you may think of her. How is it possible that we have HD video of Lauren Boebert and her boyfriend or her date, whatever this guy is, at this Beetlejuice performance, vaping, getting felt up, she's touching his leg? We don't have any video of whoever left the cocaine outside of the White House Situation Room. We don't have any video of Epstein hanging himself.
No video of Susanna Gibson.
We got plenty of video of Susanna Gibson. I don't know how much you're supposed to pay on those things, but apparently plenty of people got to see it.
As far as my knowledge goes, it's like anyone can watch it, but you have to pay individually to get something.
A token, that's what the article said.
Yeah,
it's like your tip.
Yes. So anyone can watch it.
Yeah.
But if you want to tip the person, that's when you have to pay.
Then you have to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this is what we need to do. Maybe anywhere where there's a potentially sensitive situation that's going to unfold, which is a public interest, maybe we need to have a government contract with Chatterbait, because if they're there and somebody pays a token, then it's accessible to the public.
Well, if they're getting paid, that's the people's money, you know?
Here's another one. January 6th, pipe bomber. Still have no idea who that person is. There are probably more cameras on Capitol Hill than any other place per square foot in the universe, at least in the West, in quote-unquote free countries. We still have no idea who that person is. Every time it actually matters, the footage is mysteriously not available. But Lauren Boebert, everywhere.
Well, apparently that story said that she was kicked out for vaping and singing too loud.
Yeah, she was all around acted a fool.
Yeah, but
that's
then
the kids would say.
But then I've seen things where it's like, oh, she actually got kicked out for getting fondled, and I was like, I mean, hey, girl can't help it, you know.
Well, apparently she couldn't help it.
Hashtag girl boss, am I right? I've been having my other job too much. I've been hanging around those guys.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I've been hanging around my other job too much.
I think you got one too many lap dance at your other job.
Dude, I don't know
it's
what.
frying your brain.
Man.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my. 855-839-1210 is the number here at the Matt Rooney Show on 1210 WPHT. We're gonna take a break so I can give Dan some tokens, and then we'll be back with more in just a moment.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. If your child needs support, special tutoring, and custom instruction, METC is here to help. Now's the time to call to Kathy Gannon, METC. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company for over 30 years. METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Gannon, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. 215-493-4200. Now's the time to get assistance. For your child to help them succeed, all you have to do is visit online at METC.com. METC's tutoring studio. Call them today, 215-493-4200, or email Kathy directly, info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. 215-493-4200, 215-493-4200.
Don't miss Good News in Real Estate with Deanne Katsaros and Mark Cumberland, Saturdays at 1 p.m. Find out all you need to know about home buying and selling. Considering a career in real estate? Visit PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com. Good News in Real Estate, Saturdays 1 p.m. on WPHT.
Free speech lives here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
Meanwhile, we've been talking about consensual depravity so far tonight on the Matt Rooney Show. Russell Brand.
Russell Brand?
I was going to say, the British impression that you usually do here on the program it started out as an impression of a resident of Martha's Vineyard, which makes no sense. But let's set that aside for a second.
Russell Brand.
It's actually a pretty good Russell Brand impression.
Yeah. He's pretty good in bedtime stories with Adam Sandler.
Yes.
All-time great movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Adam
now
Sandler's
Russell
best.
Brand has been accused of rape, assault, and generally being an all-around skeevy dude. That's the accusation. Apparently, according to at least one news outlet, there's 4 more people that are going to break their silence tonight, 4 more women. That's according to The Sun. And in an investigation published by The Times, this is from The Sun, Brand was accused of rape, sexual assault, and abuse by 4 women, with the star releasing a shock denial before the allegations were even published. As part of the expose, staff who worked alongside Brand on the spin-off shows claimed they were made to feel like pimps. One said, Russell's pointing out women that he found attractive in the audience, then getting the runners to get their details so that he could meet up after the show. I distinctly remember getting phone calls from women in tears the next day saying they've met up with Russell. They were mainly upset because they just felt used. So,
hey, look at that. I don't know what I was gonna say.
No, finish it. Go ahead.
I gotta hold on. Let me think. I'm gonna talk amongst yourself. You want to go back to my house, yeah? You know.
You want to go back to my house?
You want to go back to my house, yeah?
That was a little.
Get a little frisky.
That was a little Mick Jagger-ish.
Probably was, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's better than I could do.
Yeah, well, you know. I do
Now, of course, you know what you're seeing some of out there in the, the web, the interwebs, on the social media platforms, is a arguably healthy level of, I don't know if it's fair to say skepticism, but we've seen this play out how many times before, right? A star is accused by multiple people of something horrendous, and sometimes it ends up being true, and sometimes while there's a lot of smoke, there isn't necessarily provable fire. There's an added dimension here, which is that Russell Brand is a rarity among well-known celebrities for holding some viewpoints. I don't think you could call him, Dan, conservative, but for regularly questioning the narrative, particularly when it comes to some of the COVID health establishment stuff. So some are saying, well, isn't it convenient that Russell Brand has now consistently been calling out Big Pharma and some of these other arguable bad actors for some of their behavior, and now they're coming at him with these accusations. The same thing to do, regardless of who's accusing who for what, would be to do what we never do in this society, which is take a deep breath, talk about something else, and then when the facts are actually known, then you can develop an opinion. But that's not good radio, right? That's not good television. That does not provide content for the online content providers. So we are now going to debate each and every accusation long before there's enough evidence to actually determine whether or not Russell Brand is appropriately canceled, which is what they want to do here, whether he's guilty of any of this or not. So we'll keep an eye on this one as things develop. 855-839-1210 is the number here at the Matt Rooney Show. I don't think there's too much else to say about Russell Brand at this point. It's arguably the big story tonight, but I hate talking about this stuff till we actually have facts.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone now all of a sudden just be like, guess what? He raped me. Like, how does that even happen? Does someone just go out in the public and be like, yo, Russell Brand, groped me? Like, is it just like a whisper down the lane type thing, or is she like how do these accusations happen?
All right, so let me be generous, right? And assume everybody that's going to accuse him now is a genuine accuser, right?
Sure.
I guess in theory, someone decides to come forward for whatever reason. And then someone else then feels brave and decides to come forward. Or maybe a journalist gets a lead on someone who they believe was victimized. And then they put out feelers and other people come forward to them. I guess that's how it would happen organically.
But I also don't understand.
But that's assuming it's organic.
But I also don't understand, and forgive me if this sounds defensive or, anything like that, but I don't know why.
We know you don't care about humans.
Well, that's
other human beings.
True.
So we don't have to make apologies for that. You
No.
are who you are.
But if it comes off that way, like I'm not trying to, but it's just saying, like, why are all these women coming out like years and years later and not doing it as soon as it happens? Like, I get you might be emotionally scarred after it happened, but like, why are we waiting almost 20 years for things to happen? Not saying this happened 20 years ago, but there's instances where it's like multiple years after that it's happening. Like, why are we not saying it like right before, like right after it happens? Because then you have proof.
Well, and this is the classic Cosby paradigm, right? So, in the case of Bill Cosby, many believed that his accusers were credible, right? And this isn't why he ultimately ended up getting off, right? He got off for other reasons on constitutional grounds. But at what point was something just so long ago that it makes it hard to defend yourself? And that while somebody who was victimized certainly has rights, there has to be some kind of balancing act, right? Because in this country, we're not supposed to take away people's fundamental liberties unless we can prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. So somebody, to your point, Dan, comes out 20 years later, 30 years later, 50 years later, and says this person did this thing decades ago. What are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to adequately mount a defense for yourself? You really can't. And that's been one of the many controversial aspects for those of us that actually care about the truth of this Me Too movement. Obviously, you want people to feel comfortable coming forward if they're victims of crimes, but we still live in a country where we're supposed to believe that we want 1,000 guilty people to go free rather than one innocent man or woman to go to jail. And this Me Too environment where there are no statutes of limitations and you can bring something forward 50 years later and you must be believed. That's a line we hear all the time, right? All accusers must be believed, unless, of course, they're accusing a Democrat male like Bill Clinton. Then they must be destroyed, root and stem, by the leftist media and enablers like Hillary Clinton. I don't know. The whole thing is frustrating. But we will, unlike in most spaces in the media, we will wait soberly to find out exactly what the details of the Russell Brand situation are. Because at this point, we just frankly don't know enough to comment, even if we wanted to. Can we talk about Kristi Noem again for a second, if that's all right with you, Daniel?
Sure.
So, the Kristi Noem situation, and I don't want to spend 3 hours tonight talking about whether or not she had an affair. Frankly, I don't care. I am somewhat surprised that Corey Lewandowski has the game that this guy has, because he's not. I don't understand what the appeal is. Google him. Use the interwebs and look him up on Google or Yahoo, whatever you use.
It's all about the personality, man. It's all about the personality.
Is it the personality?
You mean average, dude?
Or is it that some people just like jerks?
I don't know, man.
I mean, that's the truth, right? There's a lot of people out there that are attracted to jerks.
Sure. I mean, you might have the personality. You might. I mean, he's okay, but I've just seen some.
I'm not saying he's a burn victim, but
I've just seen
Kristi Noem is an objectively good-looking.
I have seen some pretty attractive women go after some average to below average men. That's all I'm saying. Take that as what you will.
Right, but if you saw a beautiful woman on the arm of
Isabella. Go ahead. I just got to preface that.
That's sweet that you think you outkicked your coverage.
Yeah, well,
That's adorable.
I don't want to get kicked tomorrow.
Get kicked?
Yeah.
Is that how you do things in your household?
You're pretty feisty.
Just start kicking you in the shins?
Yeah.
All right. Well, look.
Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, so I am not, well, it wasn't the original point I was making, but Kristi Noem and her attractiveness, right? If you saw a beautiful woman on the arm of, like, the late Robin Williams. Robin Williams was not a good-looking dude.
No, but he was extremely funny.
But hilarious, so that I understand.
Yeah.
Corey Lewandowski, I mean, his personality. I mean, have you seen him on TV? I don't get it.
Yeah.
And Kristi Noem's husband is not an ugly guy. So if that's true, that whole situation doesn't make much sense to me. But in any event, the most significant outcome of this whole thing, for those of us that care about public affairs, might be that Kristi Noem was widely thought of as a potential leading vice presidential candidate for Donald Trump. Well, this would certainly Well, I shouldn't say certainly. Do you think this would end her candidacy, Daniel?
No. Actually, I don't know. She's a conservative, so it might, but clearly it's not ending Susanna Gibson's campaign. So I don't know. It shouldn't, because then it's just a double-edged sword at that point. But
well, because the left plays by different rules, though, right?
Correct. Since it's part of the left and she's on the left, then she's fine. But since Kristi Noem is on the right,
yeah, and on the left, there's this whole idea that a woman is measured by a different moral yardstick than a man. A woman is allowed to do anything she wants with her body.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no judgment whatsoever. So in the case of Ms. Gibson down in Virginia, they don't care. The reason they are applying a different standard, they would tell you, to Kristi Noem is that it's the hypocrisy issue, right? That she's a God-fearing, Jesus-loving, family values candidate.
I don't.
Which I always think is crazy, and then I'll shut up and let you make the point you're going to make. I love in this dimension when people say, well, you're a hypocrite because you preach family values and then you did something that was decidedly not in line with those values. At the risk of being corny here, I'm a Christian, I'm Roman Catholic. The entire premise of Christianity is that we're all sinners and we're constantly making mistakes. I haven't made that particular mistake, but I've made mistakes in my life. I know it hurts Dan to hear this, that his hero, Matt Rooney's not perfect, but I'm not a perfect person.
But he's ruined my life.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll talk at the break. Try to buck you up a little bit. But this whole idea that you're a hypocrite if you're a Christian and then do something stupid, it's counterintuitive. We're Christians because we recognize we're imperfect and we're trying to be better. Decidedly different from the left, which is not preaching, hey, we're all sinners, but you can actually seek forgiveness and improve yourself and improve your ways and be forgiven. The left believes if you violate their values, you're canceled once and forever and must be tossed off a cliff into a gorge. That's why virtue signalers are the true hypocrites. Very important difference between those two theologies there. But I cut you off, Daniel.
Again, I don't care what these people do. This really doesn't. Great. She wanted to go out and, have fun with another man. Who really cares, That's what she wanted. So be it. People are going to do what they want to do. Who cares? And I get going back to your point, is this something who you want? Is this someone who you want in the government? No, it shouldn't be, but at the same time, just let them live their life. Honestly, who really cares? If you want to go out and cheat on your partner, who gives a damn? Is it wrong? Yes. But who gives a damn?
What would you say to those who say that, well, part of the problem with this type of behavior in the public sphere is it opens you up to blackmail?
That's on them. They're the ones who wanted to have it. I mean, if anyone's getting blackmailed, that's on them. They're the ones who opened it up to the public, so that's only on them.
It's not the point, though. So if I am having a torrid affair, right, and I am governor of Pennsylvania, and someone finds out and says, Governor, here's these pictures of you with the person you're having the affair with. You're going to do this, or I'm going to reveal it to the public.
What is this, Black Mirror? What is this?
Okay. But that's the point, right?
No, I mean, I think at that point, you're the one who did it, so you got to own up to it and be like, yeah, that's me. Like, okay, what about it? I mean.
But what you're telling me is it makes no difference in your selection.
No.
Whether or not somebody is actively having an affair.
If there is a porn star running for the government and I like their policies and I like what they had to say, I don't care about what they're doing in their other life. It doesn't bother me.
Well, you could argue if and I'm not saying a porn star is the same thing as a prostitute, but if a prostitute was running for office, I mean, it would arguably be the most honest politician out there.
Sure.
Because they're all prostitutes anyway. That's just somebody that's admitting it.
Like I said, if I like their policies and I like what they have to say and I think they're going to do well for the American people, then why wouldn't I vote for them? I don't care what they do in their personal life. I don't. You want to go out and get, you want to go out and have fun with other men? I don't care. You want to go out and do it on live webcam? Sure, be my guest. I don't care. There's an audience for that. Some people might like that. It just might boost
Some people might like it. I think lots of people like it.
Yeah, a lot of people like it.
The porn industry is a $1 trillion industry.
Also might boost their polls. There's people who are into the whole live webcam thing. There's people who are into whole.
It might boost their polls.
Yeah, there's some people who are having a, the whole.
I think
affair
I'll do
thing.
a wraparound.
There you go, a whole affair thing. People are into this stuff, so I think honestly, it could help them in ways that they don't imagine. That's all I'm saying. Sex sells, baby.
Sex does sell.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, it does say something interesting about where our culture is, if you're right. Right? It used to be, bringing us full circle this hour, there was some expectation that you at least attempt to project a certain moral standard. Maybe that's gone now. Maybe that's a thing of the past. Maybe people are no longer going to care about that kind of stuff. Now, that district in Virginia, I think it's like a Republican +1 district, so it leans a little bit to the right. So since it's a good Republican year, I'm not sure the Democrat will have a great shot anyway. Not following that one too closely because it ain't my part of the world. But if Kristi Noem is not immediately drummed out of the Veep stakes, maybe that'll tell you something about where the country is. Whether it's a good place, again, I leave that to you to decide.
I don't know if she was ever in the running for VP. I know she was like polling for VP, but I don't know if everyone's like.
Well, no one really knows what's in Donald Trump's head.
No, Donald Trump doesn't know what's in his head.
No. Only the Trumpster knows. And we're going to talk about Donald Trump, obviously, a little bit later in tonight's program. We've got Dan hates polls, so we're going to talk about polls tonight.
The only poll that I like is the one that I'm on.
What do you mean the one that you're on?
It's a callback to earlier in the episode. That's
forget it. Was that an exotic dancer joke?
Yes.
Were there polls now at your other job too?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if there were though.
Okay. All right. Group trip. Dan's other job.
I did tell one of the clowns.
That's going to be my WPHT outing.
Yeah, there you go.
Before I was going to take everyone to Burning Man.
Yeah.
Because all the other hosts go to like Phillies games or whatever.
Yeah.
So we were going to go to the Burning Man Orgy Dome. Clearly that didn't work out because it ended up being a muddy disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is where we're going to go now. I'm going to do a WPHT Matt Rooney show trip to Dan's other job.
Yeah.
To watch people dressed up like vampires give each other lap dances.
Yeah, I mean, I did tell a clown in one of our attractions that I was a stripping clown named Diamond. So that was fun.
Named Diamond?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good stripper name.
What can I say?
You shine like a diamond.
You don't know what I do outside of here, Matthew.
I have my theories. I have my theories. But we're gonna talk more about 2024, obviously, and we'll talk about Donald Trump's polling. He's actually ahead in the Real Clear Politics average right now, and it's by 0.6%. And some of you are going to say, Matt, it's 0.6%. That doesn't really tell us a whole heck of a lot, but it actually does. It's an extremely significant turn of events, one which actually might, if anything will, force Joe Biden out of
his basement. Sorry, continue.
Well, no, that was a fair expectation for what I might be saying. I was going to say out of the race.
Oh, okay.
These polling numbers might force him out of the race, Daniel.
Good. Joe Biden.
I'm not sure it is good.
I don't know. How do I care?
He might be more beatable than whoever's going to come next.
Yeah, I think at this rate, anyway.
Unless it's Kamala.
And honestly, at this point for 24, I think anyone wants anyone else other than Biden.
That seems to be the way the polls are moving.
I mean, I saw something on the New York
Well,
Post.
do we have him screaming?
Yes.
That's a good way to round out the hour.
Yeah.
This is Joe Biden in Maryland. Look,
pay somewhere between 20 and 40% less in those other countries. Same exact drug, made by the same exact company.
Same exact drug.
No one's on stage with him. There's no reason to raise his voice.
No.
He does what old people with dementia do. He suddenly just gets ticked off.
I mean,
It just goes.
I mean, I think I saw a story in the New York Post over the weekend where it was like Joe Biden is now turning younger Gen Z people red.
I believe that.
Yeah, because people are just so sick of him.
Yeah. Name one thing. It's cliche to say this, but name one thing that's better today than it was 4 years ago.
The economy.
Oh, the economy is better?
Economy's up, man.
This is the problem when your producer's a smart aleck because you can never make a serious point.
Gas is flowing, baby. The gas is flowing.
We will fight you.
Thanks, Frederica.
Nothing is better. And all those Gen Zers and millennials are finding out that, it's
the
a little
eggs
hard.
are fresher.
The eggs are fresher. But guess what? You can't buy a house with a fridge to put them in because you're getting a 7-8% interest rate. It's supposed to go even higher. 855-839-1210 is the number. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Our numero uno of the Matt Rooney Show behind us. But when we return, 2 more full hours, and we're going to kick off hour number 2 with the one, the only Congressman Chris Smith. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. The NFL season is here, and now's the time to get incredible offers from FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook right now. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed, plus all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket with YouTube and YouTube TV. I really like the FanDuel app, and now's the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use. You can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. Visit FanDuel.com/Dom. Kick off the NFL season with an offer you don't want to miss. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online, real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER. NFL Sunday ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. September is Cholesterol Education Month, and it's time to take charge. So how is your cholesterol? For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted partner in cholesterol support. I've relied on Rescue supplements for years. With Rescue, you'll find specific supplements tailored to your needs. Favorites like omega-3s, red yeast rice, and more. Right now, all you have to do is just use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, buy one, get a matching Rescue cholesterol product for free. I've personally seen the first-hand benefits of Rescue supplements. They are incredible. Remember, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your cholesterol support order for free today.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Welcome back, old friends, new frenemies, and all else who will lie elsewhere in between on the spectrum that is life. I am Matt Rooney, and this is the Matt Rooney Show on 1210 WPHT, your outpost for insightful, conservative conversation every Sunday evening from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. And we are honored to have that task well in hand, I would say. Most nights, and this night is no exception. 855-839-1210 is the number here on the Matt Rooney Show. You can also participate live via our streaming feed over on youtube.com/@1210WPHT, a stream which was set up by a man who serves as this show's Latinx correspondent. He is our Gen Z representative. He is transitioning as we speak to what we're not quite sure, but we're happy to have him here as the leader of our little band, the one, the only producer, Dan Vadiz. Hey. That's a heck of an intro for yourself.
Here's a longer one. When I scream every time I see you.
You should show that kind of excitement, even if you don't really feel it.
No.
It's just polite to make me feel like you're invested in this whole enterprise.
Well, maybe you should play one of my favorite songs and we can get that kind of excitement. But until then, it ain't happening.
You control all the music.
You're right, I do. Good selection
Play whatever you want.
We got a good selection today.
Remember we used to do music themes way back when?
We did, and then I just stopped doing it because I kind of ran out of themes, and I was like, every theme that I thought was just too hard.
And I could never guess.
And you never got. You got like one.
Because it was so hard, yeah.
Yeah, then you got one.
I'm not too bright.
You also don't.
I may
really
not
know,
be a smart man.
You don't know my music.
No, I don't.
That's the thing.
Yeah, you and I are. Let's see. Math is hard. I'm 16 years older than you. 16, 17 years old, but I might be.
Well, I just turned.
I should be 30 years old.
I just turned 23.
When was your birthday?
Tuesday.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was the 12th.
Oh man, I had no idea.
It's crazy.
We should have celebrated your birthday.
Well, we were going to that Sunday, but we got canned.
That's true.
We were going to.
All right, do you want me to sing happy birthday to you?
Absolutely not. Please, for the love of God.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, producer Daniel. Happy birthday to you.
I actually am aroused by him.
That's interesting.
You're welcome.
I'm speechless. Holy ass.
That was a lot, right?
It was a lot more.
But that's how we roll in this program. We just
honestly, it was a lot more than what I needed. But
smack you in the face. Yeah, well, if you need to take a break to go clean yourself up, I'm not going to tell you can't.
I mean, there's people who didn't clean themselves up, but, you know, it is what it is.
Wait, what's the hand doing in front of the camera there?
What hand? Oh, it's adjusting my camera.
Secret Squirrel just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 birthday cakes up for you. Thank you, Secret Squirrel, for wishing our boy a happy birthday.
Yeah, and Bella is right. You can also hear her laugh in the beginning of that clip that I played.
Yeah, but Bella, you don't laugh in an aberrant way, so it's not easy to detect. Like, you're laughing like a normal human that's like, oh, I'm having an enjoyable experience.
No, she was laughing at me when it happened because she didn't expect it to come out of me, and it did. I didn't expect it to come out of me either.
And what you want us to believe is it was a true excited utterance. It's just something that came out of you.
Oh, it was.
It wasn't you trying to be funny to entertain Bella.
No. That was a genuine reaction.
Man. And you're Gen Z, so you probably really haven't even been drinking.
No, that night I didn't.
And were you under the influence of any?
I had a sparkling water.
Substances?
I had liquid death.
So you had one sparkling.
Yeah. That's all I drank that whole night. I mean, beer was so expensive at Freedom Mortgage, so I just didn't.
You just didn't partake?
Yeah, I'd rather get a water for $5 than a beer for like 10, you know?
I mean, I understand the
And
economics
plus,
of it.
and
yeah.
plus, I don't really know where I'm going in that area, so I really don't want to be drinking and then not know where I'm going.
But the impressive thing is that you could produce that sound.
I'm kind of impressed with myself. Yeah. Ask me to recreate it, it's not going to happen because I can't do it.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't be physically possible for a man to make a noise that sounds like that unless you're being run over by a Zamboni.
I mean,
You shouldn't be able to do that.
I mean, the last two concerts, the first one I went to this year, I cried, and then that one I screamed like that. So, emotional man here. Emotional.
Yeah, that's one word for it, I guess.
I'm in touch with my feelings.
Well, I can't promise we're going to help you on tonight's program get in touch with your feelings, but we are going to help acquaint you with the truth, ladies and gentlemen.
She also said she doesn't like how sexual you were singing.
Who doesn't like that?
Bella, she didn't like it.
Bella didn't like how
I don't
sexual
like how sexual
it sounded?
Matt is singing, no.
Did it make her feel uncomfortable?
Probably. It made me feel some type of way. Made me feel a little excited, but that's besides the point.
Look, I just thought it'd be nice. I guess, the heck with me for caring.
It's like this.
I didn't even get a birthday text. I got nothing from you.
I forgot it was your birthday.
So maybe I'll just forget to show up one day.
I'm pretty sure that's probably happened.
No, I've given them all notices when I'm not showing up.
Well, we'll make a big deal out of my birthday.
I'm going to forget it.
Man, being spiteful is not a path to improving our relationship.
Secret Scroll said, Matt, your brother ought to send Daniel a little something from the Love Doll channel. I don't need one. Thanks, boss. If it's free, sure, I'll take it. For a birthday gift, sure.
Secret Squirrel has brought up love dolls on more than one occasion.
He brings it up in the mornings, too.
He's got a love doll thing going on. Yeah. There's something you need to tell us? Yeah. I don't know. Well, anyway, let's talk about some substantive things. By the way, in just a short amount of time here after our first break, we will be joined by Congressman Chris Smith. I mentioned that in the first hour of tonight's program. He has teamed up with the hero of the Sound of Freedom protagonist. And there's new legislation which endeavors to help those young people, I'm talking about kids here, minors, that are getting caught up in the mess down at the southern border and are ending up being sex trafficked by some of the most evil people on the planet. There are thousands and thousands of children that are getting caught in this web. And the left, because having an open border is central to what they ultimately hope to accomplish here in this country in terms of transforming it, they don't care about the human carnage. But our guest, Chris Smith, most certainly does. So he's going to join us in just a little bit, maybe about 5 minutes, to talk about what he's working on and maybe what we can do to support the good things that he's working on, along with, again, as I say, the protagonist of the movie Sound of Freedom. We also have more guests coming up later this evening, but I'm going to keep our powder dry. I'll remind you who's coming in a little bit later. I'll give you this much of a hint. Our third hour of tonight's program, besides Twit Talk, because we will give Dan his time to play his inane clips. I promise him that every week. It's part of the reason. I'd say it's probably 50% of the reason he shows up. We will do it. But it's going to be a parents' right themed third hour of tonight's program. We have some guests that are going to give us some important updates on that fight. But I did promise we're going to talk about election 2024 in the last hour, and I did promise we talk a little bit about polling because Dan hates polls. RCP average, Donald Trump up 0.6% on Joe Biden, which, to borrow one of the Orange Man's favorite phrases, that's absolutely huge, ladies and gentlemen. And here's why. And I've had to explain this to a few people over the course of the past couple days since Donald Trump pulled ahead. They're like, "Oh, it's so far out. It's just a polling average, 0.6%. That's barely anything. It's within the margin of error if we're talking about a single poll." Here's what you're missing. A few things. Joe Biden, you may have heard, not really doing that well right now. not just in the polls, but his perception of his ability to carry on within his own party. There are plenty of Democrats now who want somebody else to pick up the torch and carry it forward because they're afraid they're going to get beat. So this is a really bad time for his polling to be in the toilet. Couple that with the fact that at this point in the 2020 cycle, Donald Trump was down on Joe Biden by about 10 points. So it's about a 10-point swing from where Donald Trump was at this point in the last cycle when he ultimately went on to lose, of course, in the general election. So, hugely significant change at a critical juncture of this particular race when Democrats, some donors, some power brokers behind the scenes may begin to apply pressure, and we're starting to see these op-eds pop up in the legacy media outlets. They may start pushing Joe Biden out the door. And there's another reason why this 0.6% is significant. It's the Electoral College, that thing that the Democrats always want to get rid of every time it doesn't go their way, even though it's an important institution. Because if we didn't have the Electoral College, Democrat candidates, and all candidates for that matter, would campaign in only a handful of states. A Democrat candidate would spend half their time in California, where they get half their ideas anyway.
College. Abolish it.
Simmer down in there.
Yeah, whatever.
Simmer down, birthday boy.
Don't tell me what to do.
You're 20. You don't look 23.
How old do I look?
You look a day over 21.
Good. I can still drink. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. The mustache ages you up a little bit.
So here's the thing. So I don't really get carded here, but then I went to Colorado. Everywhere I went, I got carded. Everywhere.
What's your theory?
I'm just saying. I don't get carded here, and then all of a sudden I go, to another state. I'm getting carded left and right.
I'd like to expound on that, but I can't possibly imagine why that would be.
It's probably because Colorado.
The people in Colorado look older and more grizzled.
No, it's probably because Colorado weed's legal. So, I don't know.
Yeah, PA. PA's a little bit of a different world. Jersey, weed is legal, of course. Everyone knows that. At least I think everybody knows that. But back to this Electoral College point for a second. Remember, Republicans have not won the popular vote more than once since 1988. It's kind of sobering, but that's the truth. They won the popular vote in 2004. In the aftermath of 9/11, the early days of Iraq, before that war was unpopular. Only time it's happened. Lost the popular vote every other year. So Republicans have won, at least on 3 occasions in recent memory, right, without having the popular vote. It's happened. So, when you are a Republican running and you're about tied in the popular vote, you can assume that you are probably going to win the Electoral College. Democrats need to be up 4, 5, or more points usually in order to be sure that they're going to win in the Electoral College. So when Joe Biden was consistently polling 8, 10 points ahead of Donald Trump, not good. Donald Trump is tied with Joe Biden in the popular vote, especially when you consider how many millions of votes in surplus come out of California alone for Democrats. That probably means that Donald Trump is ahead, not just in places like Florida, but also in places like Pennsylvania. And that is enough to keep Democrats up at night, sweating, praying to Mother Gaia, and wondering whether or not it's time to cut ties with Joe Biden and move on with someone else. So this polling for Joe Biden could not be happening at a worse time, and it couldn't happen to a better guy, could it? 855-839-1210 is the number. Quick break here on the Matt Rooney Show, and when we come back, Chris Smith joins us on 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Start at PI Dental Center. With the latest in digital technology to state-of-the-art treatment, PI Dental Center is a full-service practice. 2 board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, are originators of the Teeth in a Day protocol, a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth on the same day as the implants are placed. Hey, I've been a patient of PI Dental for over 20 years, and now is the time for you to invest in yourself. Visit PIDentalCenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Are you waking up soaking wet? Don't worry, you didn't wet the bed. It's sweat, which means your air conditioning probably needs service or needs to be replaced. Summer is still here for a few more months. If you want a company who's been servicing some of the same customers for 3 generations with honest pricing, no gimmicks, and factory-trained technicians, then Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning is for you. Visit us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekANZE.com.
Join the National Brain Tumor Society on Saturday, October 14th for the Race for Hope Philadelphia at the Navy Yard. The brain tumor community will unite to walk and run for a critical cause, conquering and curing brain tumors once and for all. To learn more, visit raceforhopepa.org.
Pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, or back that won't go away? Check out QC Kinetics. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000.
Hi, I'm PJ Vogt, here to tell you about my new podcast, Search Engine. On Search Engine, we tackle the kinds of questions that keep you up at night. Like, why are drug dealers putting fentanyl in everything? Should we be worried that Elon Musk believes that we're living in a simulation? And, for the love of God, is it actually unsafe to drink the coffee on airplanes? On Search Engine, no question is too big and no question is too small. Listen and follow Search Engine with PJ Vogt and Odyssey Podcast. Available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
This is dangerous. This is a crisis, and I'm so grateful for this congressman right here, Chris Smith, who I've worked with for years, and he's done more on the legislative side to save children than probably anyone in the history of the United States.
Well, that's high praise coming from Tim Ballard. Again, as I mentioned earlier tonight on the Matt Rooney Show, you know him as the hero behind the story that was the basis of Sound of Freedom, the blockbuster movie that the left loves to hate, but which told the story of human trafficking as it affects specifically children. It's been estimated that the Biden administration has lost 85,000 unaccompanied migrant children. Not 8,000. 8,500 kids, minors, humans. Every time we question whether or not this insanity at the border is something that should be aggressively checked, we're told that we're monsters. For the mere suggestion that maybe it's not a good idea to have open borders, a Wild West-style situation, no law and order because it's dangerous. Well, all the proof is in the pudding when you consider that there's 85,000 lives that we can't even account for, young lives. So who's doing something about it? Who's standing up for these kids? We know Tim Ballard has. Let's talk to the congressman that he just praised a moment ago. He is Congressman Chris Smith. He's a friend of this program. He's been on before. He is the representative in the U.S. House of Representatives for New Jersey's 4th Congressional District, which takes in a good chunk of central Jersey up there near the Jersey Shore, including Monmouth County. And he has a reputation as being one of, if not the most outspoken member of Congress when it comes to human rights issues, particularly those difficult ones that don't always fit the left's narrative and they don't devote nearly enough time to confronting. So we're happy to have him back here on the Matt Rooney Show. Congressman, welcome back to 1210 WPHT. I'll tell you what, that Tim Ballard quote can't get any better than that. That had to make you feel a little bit good.
Oh, it did. It was very encouraging. But, you know, Tim Ballard, as I said at the press conference and at a hearing that he was our star witness on Thursday, that, you know, he has put his life on the line time and again the story that's told in The Sound of Freedom is just a few glimpses into it, including amazing rescue of over 100 children. They could have been shot at any time, him and his friends. I mean, it was just, and he went right into the belly of the beast, into the worst of the worst, and they saved those kids and got them reunited with their parents. And it's something that needs to be done much more aggressively here. And as you pointed out, Matt, my legislation, and I had a hearing on trafficking in May. I asked the top people in the Biden administration about this, including Ambassador Dyer, and I actually created her position. I wrote 5 laws, including the original Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000, and in the second one, I created an ambassador at large to oversee the entire thing, the entire effort. And she didn't know about the 85,000 kids, where they are, what's being done to try to find them and rescue them, if that's what's needed, and it's likely needed in many instances. So I was shocked. So this hearing had the best of the best, and that's Tim Ballard, come and make that appeal. And we do have a bill we've introduced that will, I think, make a major difference in trying to recover these kids. And this also unleashes child traffickers further within our borders, people who are buying, selling kids like commodities for sale. That network makes millions. Tim suggested that they're making, the smugglers are making up to $14 million a day doing this terrible thing a day. And
$14 million.
That just causes more of them to go into it.
And what's the I even hate to talk about it in these terms, but it's what it is. It's an industry where what is the primary market for these children? If they take a child, Coyote sells them to one of these traffickers, or Coyote is a trafficker, and they get a child that's supposed to be in the United States but is intercepted and then brought into this system, where do they go?
Well, a lot of them get into, in small and any larger numbers, into these child sex trafficking rings. And the primary abuser of these children turn out to be pedophiles. And if they abuse one child, they abuse 100. It's not like they do it once and they walk away. They keep doing it and keep doing it. We have the International Megan's Law that I wrote. We have the Megan's Law in every one of the 50 states in an effort to try to mitigate their proximity to and their ability to buy and sell these children or just abduct them. And so the traffickers, when I wrote the law in 2000, we said that anybody who abuses a kid 14 or under, they get up to life imprisonment. 18 or under, up to 20 years. And then if there's force, fraud, or coercion, anybody over the age of 18. So we have a very good definition that is ironclad. And a lot of the people, remember Jeffrey Epstein? He was being
I heard something about that guy.
Under my law. He was under my law. And, of course, he's dead now. I wish he would have faced prosecution in jail. But all of the charges brought about him were part of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000. And by all rights, he committed unbelievably heinous crimes.
And unfortunately, we'll probably never know the extent of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, but that's a topic for another day. Goodness knows we could spend an entire podcast on that. But you're not just resting on your laurels with the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000. Now you have this new legislation, Congressman, you've referenced. It's the Secure Act. It's the Safeguarding Endangered Children Unaccompanied and at Risk of Exploitation Act of 2023. What are we hoping to accomplish with this new legislation relative to what's not already on the books?
Well, we would require, right now we could admonish, ask, beg, appeal to FBI, Homeland Security, and HHS, the Office of Refugee Resettlement, to undertake this, and they look at us and nothing happens. This will penalize each of those agencies up to $10 million each if they fail to do an aggressive outreach, find these kids, rescue them, report to Congress and we have a whole set of criteria that we want answered. When they conveyed these kids to a quote-unquote sponsor, and we have no idea who they really are. We don't, it's a phone number. Are they really family members? Are they taking care of these kids? Or are they forcing them into sex or labor trafficking or abusing them in some other way? I made at the press conference pointed out, because I do a lot of intercountry adoption and as well as adoption in the United States. I think it's a tremendous thing. But we do background checks. We make sure that that person's, family that is trying to get a child as part of their family is very well vetted. None of this, quick, here's a phone number, have a nice day, in 3 weeks you're out of the office and out of the shelter at HHS down near the border. Where are they going? They don't know. And I actually asked that number one person for the administration, Dyer, at the hearing. And I told her beforehand, I said, Ambassador, I'm going to ask you this question. I want to know. I'm not a got you type of congressman or chairman. I want to really know because we got to find these kids. And she said in the hearing, I don't know. Talk to Homeland Security. So we've reached out to them, and we get crickets. So this will compel them. It will embarrass them, but hopefully it will require them, because otherwise they get penalized with very significant fines. And for Mayorkas and the others, this will be just another major black eye for the worst policy perhaps I've ever seen. Where they claim the border is closed, it absolutely isn't. I talked to the president of Guatemala about a year ago. He told me 80% of all the women and young girls coming up the border are sexually assaulted. He can't stop them. They have a right to emigrate, to leave. They don't have a right to immigrate into this country. There's no international right on that. So up they come, and all these cartels are enabling passage, abusing them on the way, and they just look the other way. And that goes for Harris, too, who's supposedly the czar for the border. What a fraud that turns out to be. I am sick over it.
And it takes a lot to get you that fired up, because you're known as one of the more affable members of Congress, too. You get very fired up about the issues you're passionate about, and this is understandably one of them. But you are always open to working with everyone. For you to get this teed off about Kamala Harris and the members of the cabinet that are supposed to be, and their underlings, that are supposed to be keeping not just Americans safe, but also having some modicum of care for these fellow humans that are being abused in the worst possible ways that you can imagine. It takes a lot, and the situation is that hard. One of the questions I have for you, Congressman, because you've been down there for quite a while, you undoubtedly have conversations with your colleagues about this issue, not just on the right side of the aisle, but also on the left. What is their explanation when you say, hey, listen, don't you realize that by having these open borders, thousands of people are being raped, abused, kids are going missing and being horribly mistreated? Do they have any answer for you?
That's a great question. So many privately will say they're appalled at what the administration is doing. They don't come forward as much publicly. There are a few. Henry Cuellar, for example, who is a Democrat on the border. He has been outspoken because his district has been overrun by people, and the crime rate has skyrocketed. So there's no doubt that he's concerned. But I think there was such an obsession with always attacking Trump, always belittling everything he tried to do. I was just with on a phone call with Congressman King, the former congressman from Long Island, Peter King.
Sure.
And he wrote the Secure Act of 2006. That is the Border Act. That's the one that said we're going to create a border wall. It's a tremendous bill. It had 80 votes in the Senate, including Hillary Clinton and the current majority leader. All of them voted for it. And then something switched, and it became wrong and unethical and God knows what else to have a wall. And then when Trump tried to properly and aggressively make sure we completed it, they did everything they could to sabotage it, and they prevailed. So we have, some good news right tonight, and I hope it goes somewhere. I was just on a conference call with the majority leader, and especially the Speaker, McCarthy, and they were telling all of us just 10 minutes ago that we're going to do a 30-day continuing resolution to buy more time to work on our bills, the appropriations bills, to try to get them right and to negotiate hard with Biden and with the Senate. But they're including in the bill H.R. 2, which is Secure the Border Act of 2023. And that is a very comprehensive bill that we passed earlier in the year, 219 to 213. Of course, I was all for it, as was my other two colleagues in New Jersey, totally for it. And it covers every base. Now, that probably will not survive because the president even then said, I'm going to veto it if it gets there. But we're trying to highlight to the nation that the border is absolutely broken. And now one of the consequences are all these children, very young children. I'm talking about 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds who are being abused by these monsters. And one of the things that Tim Ballard said that was so insightful, since he worked on the border for 10 years, so he did the job there. He said the people doing it in uniform, they don't want to hand these kids over. No. They're being forced to. This is the policy of the Biden administration, so they have no say, and they're implementing it, as are the ORR, the Office of Refugee Resettlement, and they're conveying these kids to God knows who. And again, just think what we would do if this were adoptions and we're conveying all these kids to a home. We have no idea if they're Megan's Law violators, there's pedophiles in it, or they just don't have a good home, or they're being sold into a trafficking ring, which I think we're going to find many of them have.
There's a lot of things in life that are challenging and difficult to wrap your mind around. Agreeable people can disagree agreeably. But when it comes to kids, whether we're talking about parental rights or this topic in particular, it's black and white in my mind. And I appreciate everything that you and Tim Ballard and everybody else that's hammering away at this is trying to accomplish for our kids and for all kids, for that matter, Congressman Smith. Congressman Chris Smith, everyone, New Jersey's 4th Congressional District.
Thank you so much for having me on, and I'm with you. It's all about protect kids, safeguard kids. This bill will go find those kids, and we need to get this done yesterday.
So you would encourage all of our listeners to reach out to their congressman if they're listening beyond your district, which many are,
yes,
and ask them to support the Secure Act.
Exactly. Secure Act of 2023. As you said, Safeguarding Endangered Children Unaccompanied and at Risk of Exploitation Act.
It's a
Secure Act.
It's a no-brainer. I don't know how anybody couldn't support it, but then again, welcome to 2023. We're living in wacky times, but we appreciate your efforts to inject sanity into this crazy world, Congressman. And you always have an open door here when you have a good idea.
You do it every day. In Save Jersey. Thank you for that.
My pleasure. Congressman Chris Smith, everyone, our guest in the 8 o'clock hour tonight on The Matt Rooney Show. 855-839-1210. Those are our digits here on tonight's show. We're going to take a break to get a little caffeine, get charged up, and we'll be back with more in just a second.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Former Philly skipper Charlie Manuel on a slow road to recovery after suffering a stroke. A half dozen people dead on Philadelphia streets, even as police stats suggest homicides are down. 2 daytime TV talk shows go on hold as writers and actors continue on strike.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Drive into fall in a brand new Chevy from Hessert Chevrolet with the best savings on the largest inventory in the Philly area. What's not to fall in love with? Drive the incredible 2023 Chevy Trailblazer LT starting at $287 a month. We've got hundreds in stock, available and ready to drive home today. Online at HessertChevy.com. Find new roads.
Your way or no way at Hessert Chevrolet.
2023 Chevrolet Trailblazer LS, 4,000 down, 10,000 miles per year, 10 cents every mile over, 36 months. MSRP $23,785. Must qualify for Tier 1 leasing through GM Financial and have a competitive lease in household. Taxes, tags, and other fees not included. Offer expires 9/30/2023. See dealer for details.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Downtown, baby, if you wanna go, I'm gonna show you how this Italian amor is gonna love you harder than ever before you lie.
Even a cold fish like you, producer Dan, has to be moved by the idea of 85,000 kids that because of this open border crap, the government has no idea where they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's tragic.
And it's even worse. And we didn't get into this with Congressman Chris Smith, who was here a second ago. He mentioned how the border crisis is a tragedy, an avoidable tragedy, but it's not just a passive disaster, right? And by that I mean the administration, the Biden administration's incompetent, and a bunch of people wanted to come here and they didn't administer it well, and now it's a catastrophe, but it's one of good faith. They didn't intend it. We know that's not what happened. Democrats have been actively signaling and urging people to emigrate to the United States illegally for years now. So they have actively engendered a situation that is resulting in tens of thousands, if not more, women and children being sexually abused and exploited. Keep that in mind the next time your favorite lefty in your own life gets worked up about the latest Me Too cause celeb. You should care about violence wherever you find it, but why do they care about what's happening in their own backyard, but not what's happening on the border, where the worst possible crimes that can be committed against humans are happening every day to the factor of thousands? It's one of those issues that makes me so angry I don't know whether to throw up or smack something. Or both. Smack something with throw up. Sorry for the visual, but sometimes you just have to say how you feel. 855-839-1210 is the number here on the Matt Rooney Show. You can also follow along live via the YouTubes. Head over to youtube.com/@1210WPHD. It's the house that Valdez built because he created this YouTube channel. Did you not, Daniel?
I did.
And we now have 4.49 thousand subscribers.
Yep.
So that's a fair amount of subscribers. Not too shabby.
Yeah, we created it in March, and we went live. Our first show was April 20th.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's just been... I've been doing stuff behind the scenes for it ever since. So
yeah, just growing from there. Yeah, you are the video whiz around here. I don't know what we would do without you, producer Dan.
There would be no video.
There'd be no video.
That's it.
That's it. That's what it would mean.
That's it.
No one would know what any of us look like. Which I mean, I guess in some cases, may not be the worst thing. We'll leave that to you to judge. Good news for John Fetterman. We have to make sure we bring this up this evening, Dan. There is now officially no United States Senate dress code.
Good night, everybody.
That's right. But you should say hello, everybody, because now John can go out in public in the Senate. Assuming he has any shame, he can now dispense with it.
He was the type of kid to wear shorts all year, even in middle school. I mean, so was I, but like John Fetterman just wore shorts all year in middle school.
I know what you're talking about, though. There was always that one kid that showed up with shorts and a hoodie.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
I did it just because I didn't have to go outside. I wasn't in recess, so I was like, I'm just going to wear shorts. Let me be comfortable, and that was it.
No, for most of my academic life, 5th grade through college, I went to Catholic school. So it was harder to get away with that because of the whole dress code thing. But I know exactly what you're talking about. John Fetterman no longer needs to worry, though. This is from Fox News over the course of the weekend. I actually think earlier today, the U.S. Senate will no longer enforce a dress code for members of the upper house elected by those who serve. However, others entering the chamber must comply with the dress code. Coats and ties for men, business attire for women. Tweeted Chad Pergram, Fox News senior congressional correspondent. Senate Majority Leader Chucky Schumer of New York quietly sent the directive to the Senate Sergeant at Arms. According to the news website Axios, the change permits Senator John Fetterman, Democrat of Pennsylvania, to continue to wear his trademark hooded sweatshirts and gym shorts while working for Americans. So we talk about special legislation. This isn't legislation. It's something that the head of the Senate Majority Leader, can change at a whim. Nobody needs to vote on it, but this is tantamount to special legislation. Years of tradition and standards being thrown out the window to satisfy the dress preferences of one United States senator who likes to look like a meth addict that rolled out of a garbage can at 5 o'clock in the morning when he dresses to go to work, all to satisfy his dress preferences because he happens to be from a battleground state, I guess, and he needs to keep up with the shtick. It's like, I hate talking like this. I really do, because I'm 38 years old. I have some old tendencies, some older tendencies. Some might say I'm an old soul in certain respects.
How are you, old man?
But I really am not as uptight as sometimes I feel like I come across, because I have strong opinions about this stuff. But shouldn't we have some standards? You know, I mean, the United States Senate is supposed to be the premier legislative body, not just in this country, but on the planet. Right? This is supposed to be the cream of the crop. Presidents come out of this body. And now we're going to let some goober dress in shorts and a hoodie and change the rules to accommodate him?
I will say this.
But if you're taking your family there on vacation to sit in the gallery, you have to wear a tie.
I will say this. I'm all about being comfortable. And I think there's, like I said earlier, there's a time and a place for everything. But if you're going to do official business for the people of Pennsylvania, or in just the Senate in general, you should probably dress presentable. I mean, if you're not going to wear a suit and tie, at least business casual. Put on a nice pair of slacks. Put a collared shirt on. You know, don't show up in basketball shorts and a pair of sneakers and.
Right, well, we're not talking about the guy just doesn't like ties.
Yeah, no. Like, you don't need to wear a tie. I'm just saying, like, be business casual. There's ways of doing it without looking like a slob.
And that's what he looks like. He looks like a slob. It's not just me trying to be cute or funny. He looks like a meth addict. If you saw John Fetterman dressed like he dresses, coming at you on a dark street, you would move out of the way because you're going to assume that somebody's strung out.
I'm all for
You're going to cross the road.
I am all for wearing shorts whenever you can. I'm wearing them now. It's what I live in. But
he's not wearing Bermuda shorts.
No. But there are times where you need to be like, I can't wear shorts to this because I need to look presentable. Like, I'm not going to go to a wedding and wear shorts. I'm not going to go to a homecoming or a prom and wear shorts. Like, I know I need to dress up.
Right, because it's maybe an outdated idea, but how you dress reflects not just how you feel about yourself, but also the respect you have or don't have for the people you're dressing for.
Or if you're going to wear shorts, put on a nice pair of khaki shorts.
Yes.
You know?
But John Fetterman doesn't respect the Senate. He doesn't respect the people of Pennsylvania or of this country. He probably doesn't even really respect himself, which is why he spent how many months in the loony bin? Grappling with whatever mental health issues he has. You want someone representing you. Heck, forget about Congress for a second. Let's say you're hiring somebody to represent you as an attorney. Let's say you're hiring somebody to be your realtor to sell your house.
Can I hire you? Because you're a lawyer, right?
Can you hire me?
Yeah.
You can't afford me. What do you want to hire me for?
Okay. Never mind. Way to just poor shame me.
Poor shame you?
Yeah.
Bella, I'm trying to make the best of an awkward situation because Bella already retained me.
That's great.
Yeah. Great. I like her. It's just because I like her better. It doesn't have anything to do with you being poor. Does that make you feel better?
She's the sugar mommy in the relationship.
Is she the sugar mama?
Yeah.
How does Bella feel about being a sugar mama?
She denies it, but
does she find it's empowering?
She denies it, but I'm just like, you are making more money than I am, so like, she's the sugar mommy. She gets me all I want. She doesn't say no to me. I ask for everything that I want, and she's like, of course.
Anything for my Danny? Does she call you Danny?
No, she calls me Daniel.
Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you might. Do you have any kind of disgusting pet names? I don't want to hear them, but do you call each other pet names?
She does.
For you?
Yeah. I mean, she uses Daniel Ethan a lot, and it kind of pisses me off because that's how I know I did something wrong.
Daniel Ethan.
Yep. Like, because I'm just so stubborn. When I have a way of, like, on Friday, or what is it? One of these nights, I was just going to bed, and she was like, "You got to get up and shower." I was like, "Nah."
She denies she's the sugar mama.
I told you she denies it. She feels bad for me. That's not true. She's a sugar mama, but like I'm stubborn, and every time that she has to tell me to do things more than one time, she's like, "Daniel, Ethan," and I was like, "I should probably do it."
I should probably do it.
Yeah.
You're going to get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, you landed yourself a hell of a lady there, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, you've met her.
I have. She's pretty fantastic. A lady who's not impressing many people these days.
Nancy Pelosi.
Good guess. That wasn't where I was going, but
Susanna Gibson.
No, I think Susanna Gibson's impressing quite a few people. They just happen to be perverts.
Yeah.
That want
Or they're just
that want to pay to watch her debase herself.
Or they're just, ripping it, They're just choking the chicken.
Goodbye. Hey.
Just whacking the weasel,
Well, apparently that's, And that's the ultimate irony there, by the way, right? Before we pivot real quick to what I was talking about. Like, the idea that it's something empowering, I always laugh at when it's presented as, oh, yes, sex work is something that allows women to own their sexuality and flip the paradigm of the patriarchy. No,
yes,
because
the patriarchy.
because no one is paying attention to you for your brain. They're using you as an object for sexual gratification.
As a guy, as men here,
there's at least one man on this radio show right now, whether you're it or not, is open to
between
interpretation.
a man and a boy. Is that better?
Yes.
Between me and you.
Yes, man, boy.
Between being men.
Yes.
When we're in that state of mind, we're not thinking with our brains.
No.
We are thinking with a different kind of brain.
A different end of the anatomy, yes.
Yes, we are not thinking with our brain, and we just want to help ourselves, and that's all we want to do.
Right. So, again, the idea that it's somehow empowering and you're getting men to pay attention to you in a positive way.
And in that certain instance, men will pay literally anything
garbage.
to do it. To say it in the lightest terms. I mean, granted, it's free, but you go over there and you'll find something. You don't have to pay for it.
It's a gazillion-dollar industry, so maybe you're onto something.
Yeah.
That much is true.
Yeah, so men will literally pay for it to make it happen. So,
well, let's talk about another sterling lady, not Nancy Pelosi, your girl Kamala, who I mentioned earlier that Joe Biden, you may have heard, is having some polling trouble.
How dare they?
God, Kamala's so bad.
Democrats can't even say, when asked in front of a camera, whether or not they think that she belongs on the ticket at this point. Here's your girl, Nancy Pelosi, commenting, or I should say not really commenting, on Kamala Harris in 2024. That's cut
is that?
Quattro. That's 4, since you're not really Hispanic. Okay? Your middle name's Ethan, for God's sake.
Yeah, I had to think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
I did.
Cuatro. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
President Kamala Harris the best running mate for this president?
He thinks so, and that's what matters.
He thinks so. That's what matters. Use that the next time you and Bella are going out. Do I look pretty? Well, you think so. That's what matters. And see whether or not you survive the night, Daniel. But it's not just Nancy Pelosi. Cut Quattro, Dan. Jamie Raskin, hero of the left. He's one of their favorites.
That's Cinco.
What did I say?
Quattro.
Oh, Cinco is what I meant to say, yes.
Come on.
Well, I'm carrying all of the diversity baggage for both of us, so forgive me if I mangle a Spanish syllable.
It's not no one's making about personalities. I mean, it's just a simple question. Do you think Kamala Harris is the best running mate for President Biden? You've said she's excellent. That's farther than Speaker Pelosi went. But do you think she's the best? I'm not trying to throw anything into turmoil. I actually think it's a pretty simple question. Do you think Kamala Harris is the best running mate for President Biden? Yes or no?
I mean, I don't know what else I can say other than
She
You can
would
say
be
yes.
an excellent running mate and an excellent vice president. I don't know whether President Biden has named his running mate. We're going to a convention next summer. It's a year away from now, and we're going to go through that process. So,
I mean, you say, I don't know why you can say. The answer is you could say yes. You could say yes. I think Kamala Harris is the best vice president and the best running mate for President Biden. That's the answer you could be giving right now. Yes, she is.
So I've not seen any public opinion polling. You might be a stronger vice presidential running mate than her or me or anybody else. I don't know who else, if you're talking about the polling, but I will tell you as a matter of substance and public policy, she'd be an excellent choice.
Wow.
And she and the president have done an excellent job.
Man, so there's Jamie Raskin talking to Anderson Cooper. Peter denied Christ 3 times. Jamie Raskin denied Kamala Harris 4. Quattro, Daniel. 4 times. Could not say she was the best choice for vice president of the United States for another 4 years. The Democrats are in turmoil. Every time you hear some nonsense narrative over the course of the coming weeks and months about Republicans, there's a split in their caucus. Matt Gaetz is angry at, the Speaker of the House, Andrew McCarthy, this, that, and the other. Kevin McCarthy, Andrew McCarthy. You're going to hear about Trumpers that are not on the same page as never Trumpers. Chris Christie is saying nasty things about the former president. They're going to do everything they can to try to manufacture controversy, manufacture disunity on the right side of the aisle. The Democrats are held together right now with one of those Elmer glue sticks that you just bought for your kid.
Oh, the ones that you
to go back to
taste
school.
that are non-toxic and you eat anyway?
Well, I know you've eaten a few, and that's just tonight.
Well, my nickname,
since the start of the show.
My nickname in elementary school is Glue Eater.
That surprises me not at all. We see the sad product of those decisions every Sunday night, 7 to 10.
They said non-toxic. Well, joke's on them. I'm like Britney Spears.
I believe they're not that toxic because they don't hold much together. That's the point.
I mean, the purple ones do some work. That's all I'm saying.
The purple do more. I don't know if
Purple
there's any
ones are
science
great.
behind the color.
Yeah, there's more sticky in the purple.
But it comes through. That's
say-
the only problem. The purple one bleeds through what you're working on.
Maybe?
It does. It does.
You probably would know. You have children.
Yeah. It comes through. So if you're using something light colored, a light piece of paper you're sticking on top, you see like a purple wet mark behind it. Yeah.
Nothing
It's like a grimace shake.
I'd much rather see a purple wet mark than a white one. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I knew you were going to go there, and I said it anyway, and I set you up, and I'm so sorry that I did. I hate myself for it. I hate myself for that.
Oh, man.
But the Dems are in trouble. And, I mean, look, Hunter Biden being indicted for gun charges, which the thing I love about that, and we don't have time to get into everything tonight I'd like to talk about. That's just the way it works. You never thought 3 hours could go so quickly. You've got Democrats now actively making Second Amendment arguments to try to get the president's son off of a gun charge. This is glorious. What more could we want out of life right now than all of the trouble the Democrats have bought for themselves? Republicans only have themselves to blame if they blow this year in New Jersey, the 2023 legislative elections, and then next year, 2024, when Republicans have a chance to retake Washington, D.C. If we don't pull it off, it's on us because the left has given you more than enough material to work with. Up and down the ballot, every possible issue you can come up with. Nothing, as I said earlier on tonight's program, is better than it was just a few years ago. Who wouldn't want to go back to 2019? I'd like to go back to 2019.
I wouldn't.
Well, you wouldn't be able to have a drink if we went back to 2019.
No, I would just be graduating.
I drank less in 2019.
I would just be graduating high school.
Yes. All right, so everyone else wants to go back to 2019. You can go, I don't really care what you do. You can go take some glue sticks and hide in the corner.
I go huff some glue sticks.
Yeah, huff some glue sticks and have yourself a fun time. 855-839-1210 is the number here on the Matt Rooney Show. You can also check us out over at youtube.com/@1210WPHT as our dose ends and our trace will dawn in just a few moments. And don't forget, we got 3 guests for the price of one coming up in the final hour of tonight's program. Sussex GOP Chairman Joe LaBarbera is going to talk about the anti-Phil Murphy billboard that he commissioned, may have heard about on Fox News. And our friends from the Middletown Board of Education, Jackie Tobacco and Frank Capone, they will be here as well to talk about the latest in the battle for parental rights in the Garden State and beyond. You're not going to want to miss it here on 1210 WPHT. Sit tight. Back in just a few.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here to talk about my friends at Family and Company Jewelers in Marlton, New Jersey. You've heard me talking about them nonstop, but now is the time to pay them a visit. Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey. If you're shopping for the perfect engagement ring, look no further. They have the top 5-star rating on Google with over 2,000 reviews. No one else comes close to that. Get the right ring. A ring from Family and Company Jewelers. Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
2 questions. Do you have a small business? Great. And do you have 5 minutes? Even better. You've got everything you need to start an application for quick, hassle-free financing from Capitus. We've helped more than 50,000 small businesses just like yours get competitive financing and the working capital they need in as little as 1 day. So, don't wait. Skip the red tape and get a decision today. Apply at capitus.com/radio. Go to kapitus.com/radio.
Suicide is something that affects all of us, and we can all play a part in saving lives. Join the movement to fight suicide and to make a difference in your community by walking out of the darkness with us on Sunday, October 1st at the Philadelphia Art Museum. Help spread awareness and understanding. Send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/PhillyWalk. That's afsp.org/PhillyWalk.
Hey, Paoli. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey there, boys and girls. Welcome to the final hour of the Matt Rooney Show here on 1210 WPHT. You've made it. Congratulations.
Who they judge?
Hour 1 was a hoot. Hour 2 was informative. Hour trace, this is, if we had a theme for the hour, this is parental rights hour. Because what more important issue is there at the moment than whether or not the parents of this great country in the Keystone State, the Garden State, and beyond have control of their own children? It's either you or the government. It's a binary choice. That's what the left is setting up. And we are fighting back here on 1210 WPHT, and we know you are down for the struggle. So we're going to be joined by 3 guests this hour. They're going to talk to us about various aspects of this fight in New Jersey in particular, one from way up in the wilds of North Jersey, Sussex County Republican Chairman Joe LaBarbera, who's going to be joining us in just a few moments. And then a little bit later in the hour, we'll be joined by Jackie Tobacco and Frank Capone, who sit on the Middletown School Board in Monmouth County, New Jersey. That's Phil Murphy's adopted hometown. They have their district, that is, a target on it because Phil Murphy has sued their school district along with a few others because they have the audacity to inform parents in that school district, or at least this is what they wanted to do, when their child wanted to change their gender at school. This is the world we're living in now. Parents having a opportunity to be involved in their own child's major decisions under assault in the state of New Jersey. And we know plenty of other places on the map as well. So we look forward to getting an update from them as to the state of the struggle. And it's getting crazy well beyond New Jersey. You don't just have to watch the national news networks to get a flavor for this. Dan, don't even make your smart aleck comment. I'm an attorney, for those who don't know, and I primarily practice family law. And so I spend a lot of time working on custody cases. Out in California, there is a bill, and I don't know if it got signed by Gavin Newsom yet, but it was passed by the legislature to make whether or not you affirm your child's gender preferences a criterion, okay, for adjudicating custody. So let's say that Dan and I are married. Congratulations, Dan. You outkicked your coverage officially this time. And we have a child. And Dan believes that because the child is a girl but thinks it should be a boy, we should support that. And I say, Dan, that's absolutely insane. No way in heck am I getting around this anti-science, injurious to the kid, hyper-political goofiness. That could be used against me in California in a family court, assuming this bill ultimately becomes law. That's the state of play right now in the United States of America. I've had some people recently, and somebody on Twitter tonight said, Matt, we appreciate how into, parental rights you are, but, what about taxes? What about big government? Yada, yada, yada. Things that conservatives traditionally spend a lot of time discussing and a lot of energy debating. Why not talk about that? My response, what more important, quote unquote, big government issue could there be than whether or not I get to be in charge of my child's life until they are no longer a child and are no longer a minor and become an adult? They reach the age of majority. Your ability to be the master of your own home, that is the most important big government issue on the ballot this year, next year, any year. And let me tell you something, and I hope this point is obvious for all of you. If not, it should be. It does not matter what the latest tax proposal is. It does not matter what happens in Ukraine. It does not matter, for that matter, what happens down at the United States border if we do not have the opportunity to be the parents for our own children. If the left is allowed to raise your child without your input, that's game over. If they have their hooks in your kids and you don't have a say in the matter, that's it. Because they will control the future. And all of these other ancillary issues, debating them will simply be a useless academic enterprise. It's just the truth. And that's what we lay on you here on the Matt Rooney Show. Remember, you can go over youtube.com/@1210WPHT and check us out over there. You can not only see yours truly, and I am undoubtedly a sight to behold, but you can also occasionally see producer Dan on the producer cam. And I'm not sure if it pans to him when he talks or if he controls when he can actually be seen.
I control it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Can you show yourself for a second and then wave at everybody? Could you smile and pretend that this isn't a hostage situation?
I am currently working to get it voice automated. That's a option with this program. It follows whoever's talking.
Hey now.
And it automatically switches it by the voice. We have it. I don't know how to particularly use it, so I'm trying it. And then I usually just follow who's talking. So like, if you're talking, then it goes to you. If I'm talking, it goes to me. Whoever's talking, I switch it to.
We are certainly coming into like the 20th century here.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Had to hit the cough button there.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of a man cold tonight. I'm on man cold number 2 of probably about 6 that I'm going to get between now and Easter. That's how I am every year. My fellow parents, we're talking a lot about parental rights this hour. You have little Petri dishes at home too, and they're cute. We love them, and we wouldn't trade them for all the world. But every year they head back to school, and they bring home all manner of diseases. And my wife, being a much stronger person than I am, because let's face it, they're stronger than we are, at least in this department, I catch everything that comes down the block. I am that farm boy that goes off to war and is in a barracks for the first time and is like dead the first day. Whatever the disease is, I've got it. So it's a heck of a business when you talk for a living as a lawyer and as a radio host. But I have my cough drops. I've got my cough medicine. And I soldier on because I care that much about giving all of you quality radio every Sunday night. It's that important to me. So whether you listen online, whether you listen via the Odyssey app, whether or not you listen via the radio waves, the old-fashioned way, we are happy to have you here on the Matt Rooney Show. And I speak for Daniel as well, even though he very rarely smiles or gives you any reason to think that he's happy to have you here. We will be joined this hour, first and foremost, by Joe LaBarbera in just a few minutes here. And, Dan, I'm going to tweet. Did you get the email I sent you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the billboard?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Cool.
Kind of fun, right?
It's cool.
Yeah, so let me tweet this out here. Can I? Or am I tweeting or am I Xing? Has that been established since we were last on air?
I think it's just posting. Because it no longer retweets, it's repost. And you can't tweet, it's just post.
It's kind of boring, though.
Yeah, well.
It's going to take a while to stop saying tweeting.
Yeah, that means I also have to change our little social banner at the bottom of our video because it says Twitter.
It has Twitter on there?
Yeah, I got to change it.
Well, it's more work for you, so that's another reason to hate it.
Yeah,
but here we go. I just hit the post button. It's not tweet anymore, it's post. With a picture of the billboard which is going up in Sussex County. You see it? There we go. Man, why is this button not working?
I don't know.
So often on this program, I feel like somebody's grandmother. Daniel, come in here.
I'm not doing anything.
I can't change the time on the toaster.
Why does Google keep changing its design?
I don't know. Because somebody gets paid to tinker with this stuff.
Yeah.
But we're going to take our first break of the hour. When we come back, we're going to talk to Sussex County Chairman Joe LaBarbera about this billboard that's going up in his county because it's turning heads. It made it all the way up to Fox News. And I think once you see it, and you can head over and check out my Twitter page, my X page. My handle's Matt Rooney NJ, at Matt Rooney NJ. Go check it out. Once you see it, you can understand why it's the talk of the town at the moment. It features Phil Murphy with a big old ugly head of his pulling a child away from two parents. And then, the rest of it, you have to see it to believe it. 855-839-1210 is the number here on the program. Quick break, and then we're going to kick off hour 3 in just a second.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. The NFL season is here, and now is the time to get incredible offers from FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, All customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. But you have to act now because this offer expires 9/18/23. Go to FanDuel.com/Greg and kick off the NFL season right now with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel Sportsbook is official partner of 1210 WPHT and he's official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in PA. First online and real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue does not withdraw bonus bets. That expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds, terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children go without enough food to eat. You can help feed the hungry. Donate to the Catholic Charities Appeal. Visit CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org. Giving hope to those who need it most. CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org.
Free speech lives here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
So angsty. Who is this?
My Chemical Romance.
Okay. I've actually heard of that. I couldn't name a single song, but
I played them before, but they're very angsty, emo, teenish.
yeah, very
music.
angsty. Yeah. We're so happy around here.
I don't know. It's the fall time. It's Halloween time, so I'm getting a little spooky and angsty and a little gothic, you know?
As you're wont to do.
Yeah.
The head gestures were the best part there.
Dude, I love
that's
this
why
time.
That's why we need to have the producer cam on more often.
Well, it was on.
No,
But, like,
was it?
I love this time. So
a little
like
spooky and a little angsty.
Yeah,
and
it
a little
great
extra.
Great time of year. This is the best time of year, so I got to really go all out.
I'm happy you're happy, Daniel. Yeah. And we're always happy here on the Matt Rooney Show, even though the music sometimes might suggest otherwise. Let's talk to a guest
just let
who
me live. Like I enjoy playing music and I be jamming out. Just let me
you
live.
you act like I'm bugging you on your own time. I'm not knocking on your car window saying turn down the music, Sonny.
You are.
This is my program.
It's our program.
All right. You know what?
We're communists now.
We need to go to some kind of mediation. But let's not take away from our guest who we're going to see a lot of political advertising in the coming weeks and months, but I think this one is an early favorite of, I know yours truly, but also many others. Well, let's bring him in first before we describe exactly what I just tweeted. He is the chairman of the Sussex County Republican Party. Sussex County, one of those reliably red counties in the state of New Jersey. Lots of hard-charging conservatives up in that part of the state who were standing up to Phil Murphy's radical agenda, and Joe LaBarbera is one of them, and he joins us live on the Matt Rooney Show, both on the radio and I believe, Daniel, for the first time for our program, over on the YouTube stream. Is that correct?
Yep.
I'll tell you what. We're really stepping up our game around here. Mr. Chairman, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Matt Rooney Show.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. I saw you on Fox News the other day. You were on Fox and Friends, I think, correct?
Yeah, I did Fox and Friends and then Fox Business and then Fox Culture did an article about me, and I'll be on Fox Culture Monday night.
Well, check you out, turning heads. And also making some friends in the governor's office, I'm sure, with this ad.
I can't be friends with someone like that.
Well, who would want to be? Especially with all those weird poses he's constantly striking. I don't know if you saw him pose on Twitter the other day with some young lad at a race. He ran into a kid and took a picture with him, and he's doing some kind of weird lunge. You have to see it to believe it, but it shouldn't be allowed within 100 yards of a school zone. But another story for another time. This ad which you commissioned, am I correct?
Correct. It was commissioned by the Sussex County Committee.
So it shows, and I don't know if Dan can show it on here, but we tweeted it. It's great. It's got two parents that are trying to pull a young boy away from Phil Murphy, and Phil Murphy, obviously it's a cartoon version of him, which is somehow less ugly, but he still has that big head that we're all familiar with. There it is. You can see it on YouTube. Pulling the child away towards what look like, I don't know if they're aliens or demons or demon aliens. They look like something you'd see at a haunted hayride.
Rachel Levine.
Rachel Levine. Yes, they're Rachel Levines, if you will. And one is holding a dress, and one is holding some type of syringe, and the other one is counting money. And it says, "No family is safe from Murphy's sex ed mandates, #end mandates." The message seems pretty straightforward to me, but why don't you tell me what the inspiration here was?
Well, we're looking at this as far as something bigger than just the social arguments of the day. We have a governor who said the Constitution's above his pay grade. And at first when I heard that, I figured, oh, well, everybody once in a while speaks in hyperboles, but he's acted that way. First of all, there are multiple Supreme Court cases. I've listed them in the Fox News article quoted me on that the 14th Amendment does protect parental rights. So when you're saying that a parent does not have the right to influence or know what is going on with their child, number one, they're paying taxes into the school district. Number two, it's a constitutional right. Number three, what they're suggesting, the mutilation of children, the transitioning of children to whatever, some other gender, I guess, that they exist, whereas the parents don't even know what's going on, to children who are underage and not mature enough to make that decision yet. As we can see, so many people are, quote unquote, detransitioning, and there's so much coming out against it, and there's so little known about it. And to see a governor in this position of responsibility and authority emphasizing this unconstitutional and this basic violation of social norms going back to the beginnings of civilization, the fact that more people aren't standing up against this shows either two things. They're scared of the cancel culture, or they don't realize what's going on. So the point of the cartoon is to do two things: instill courage into those who lack it, and two, let the working people of the state, who are too busy to pay attention to this horrible garbage, understand what exactly is being done to their children and themselves.
You've made two really good points. First of all, that we have kids that continue to detransition or change their minds every day. I spoke to more than one teacher over the course of the past week, since all the kids are now back in school, who say, yeah, that boy who told us they were a girl last year and wanted to use they, them pronouns, lo and behold, they showed up and they're the opposite gender this year. The idea that we're indulging this and treating this with seriousness, it says something about the institution of parenting in 2023, but also courage, Mr. Chairman, the importance of having courage. I know that your county committee and your candidates up in your part of the world are not shying away from the parental rights message. I'm not sure that courage is being evidenced in every single legislative district across the state as we sit here today. Yet it blows my mind because even a liberal poll, like down in Monmouth University, they showed that 77% of New Jerseyans are opposed to Phil Murphy's policy here. So what would be your advice to any Republican that isn't leaning heavily into the pro-parental rights movement this year heading into November?
Well, number one, they better get on the right side of history. Number two, they better understand basic concepts like morality, the Constitution, and what we stand for as Americans, and what human mores in every single religion and every single faith and every single society going back to the beginning of human history has stated. And then finally, they need to not just have rhetoric. Rhetoric is cheap. They need to name school boards. They need to name schools. They need to name NGA and BOE officials who are pushing this abomination and this threat to our very structure of our lives and our families and our communities.
It's so true. And we've heard that now that, and we're going to talk a little bit about this more with our next guest because they sit on the Middletown School Board, the Murphy administration has now admitted that these rules, these prescriptions concerning contacting parents when a child wants to use a different gender in school, whoa, it's not a mandate, it's just guidance. That was the big bombshell revelation of the past week. So more school boards appear to be revolting. Is there any news in your own backyard about schools that are bucking the Murphy administration's guidance when it comes to informing parents what's going on in their own kids' lives?
Yes, our school boards in Sussex County, for the most part, have been very strong about this. They're basically in rebellion about this. Some school boards, I don't want to name them because I don't want to bring unnecessary attention until they get it done, are planning on passing resolutions against this. And we're looking at a New York Post article which says about 20 school boards, not just in Sussex County, but through the state, are going to openly rebel against this. And the important thing also to know is this may be, whether one agrees in this or not, the fact that the state can forbid a parent from knowing what's going on with their children, that can swing in any direction. That sets a horrible unconstitutional precedent and just replace transgendering with any other topic. And now we have a state that no longer regards the parents as having any right to their children.
Are there plans to expand this billboard? Because I'll be honest with you, being a South Jersey guy, as much as I love your neck of the woods, I don't get up there all the time, and I want to see it on a highway near me.
Yeah, we're working on it. The cancel culture is already coming out in force. The supporters of our Democratic politicians, we have some supporters in Sussex County of Guy Heimer and Mickey Sherrill, bloggers that are running around saying they're going to start boycotting any business that puts it up. So our tactic in response is going to be very random. We are looking statewide, and we're going to go very heavy on social media, and then little random shots here and there on billboards to keep the extremists off balance.
Well, do not back down, because one thing that I know you and I share, we see this issue very clearly because it is not complicated. It's black and white. And I think the good news for Republicans this year is most voters get it because they're coming for our kids. And if we don't stand up for them, no one will. But you and your Sussex Republicans are, so keep hard charging, please. Joe LaBarbera, he is chairman of the Sussex County Republican Party. Where can we find you and your committee online?
Sussex GOP. Just go look Sussex Republicans, Sussex GOP, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
All the places where they'll be, at least until this is up there long enough, and then they try to take them down. So we all know how that goes. So hopefully you stay up at least until we get to November, the first Tuesday in November. Chairman, thanks for joining us on the Matt Rooney Show, and definitely keep us in the loop as this progresses.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
You're listening to the Matt Rooney Show. That was Joe LaBarbera. Great billboard. We'll share it again on Twitter. Let's take a break, and when we come back, more in our parental rights-themed third hour when we're joined by two members of the Board of Education in Phil Murphy's own backyard. You're not going to want to miss this here on 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Start at PI Dental Center. With the latest in digital technology to state-of-the-art treatment, PI Dental Center is a full-service practice. 2 board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, are originators of the Teeth in a Day protocol, a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth on the same day as the implants are placed. Hey, I've been a patient of PI Dental for over 20 years, and now is the time for you to invest in yourself. Visit PIDentalCenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
I am not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can actually change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Dawn Stensland here. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine, and they take your body's own concentrated healing properties, put them directly into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC Kinetics treatments. Get a free consultation from the medical professionals at Contact QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall moving around pain-free, doing all the things you love again. Just call QC Kinetics, see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. And they're right here in Philadelphia. Call 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that moment in time, her life changes forever. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Dan, if you were driving down the road, some dusty, swampy New Jersey road, like something out of a Springsteen song, and you saw the Sussex County Republican billboard, what would your reaction be?
Wow. Like an Owen Wilson. Wow.
Wow, that was a good Owen Wilson. Wow.
Wow.
Well, check that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't do too much these days. He had
No, he
that
doesn't.
mental health break.
He just did a Disney movie, The Haunted Mansion.
Oh, is he in that?
Yeah, him, Jamie Lee Curtis, and someone else is in it. They're all starring in it.
You know what would be a fun idea?
It flopped, if you were wondering.
The movie?
Yeah.
Oh, is it out already?
Yeah, terrible.
Did you see it?
No, but I just heard that it wasn't good in the box office.
Because something that'd be fun to do sometime would be you and I to go watch a movie and then review it.
Oh, so like a little mandate.
Little mandate, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You got all giggly when I suggested that. Oh, that's sweet. It's nice that I can still make Dan feel that way from time to time. 855-839-1210 is the number. Thank you to everybody listening and watching over at YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Have a robust following over on YouTube, and we are glad you are all enjoying the show and getting to interact and having one heck of a time. I always endeavor to have everybody have at least as much fun as I have enjoying our program, because it's always got great content, some fun, wholesome family laughs. The first hour of tonight's program, not that wholesome, but I can't help what's in the news any more than you can. And tonight we're also talking about some heavy topics, right? This hour we're talking about parental rights. And our next guest, do we have Jackie, Dan?
We have both.
Okay, we have both of them? All right. They're going to let you in on the latest assault by our government on our parental rights in New Jersey. But before we bring them on, briefly, I made a major host boo-boo, a major error I committed by forgetting one of our regular segments here on the Matt Rooney Show. And it's one we haven't had for 2 weeks, so we have to do it tonight. We need Dan to teach us something.
Yeah.
It can't just be me carrying all the pedagogical weight around here. We need Dan's fact of the week.
Yeah, so this one's gonna be a little bit different. There's different music to it that I have with it because I gotta set it up. You know.
There's different music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just wait for it. Just wait.
Like kind of like swingy, honky tonky. But
Jingle Bells was actually written for Thanksgiving.
Hey, Guy. Hey, Danny. It's September 17th.
It's a fact, and it's there for you. So there you go. Jingle Bells was originally written for Thanksgiving.
We interrupted the show for that.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Good.
What do you mean it was originally written for Thanksgiving?
Originally written for Thanksgiving. First published in 1857, it was written by James Lord Pierpont, whatever it is, to be sung on Thanksgiving, not Christmas. There's some question as to where it was written. Massachusetts and Georgia, both are plausible. Basically where sleigh rides were popular. Medford, Massachusetts. The original title of the song was One Horse Open Sleigh, but that was changed to Jingle Bells or the One Horse Open Sleigh when it was reprinted in 1859.
Okay, well, I guess, it used to snow at Thanksgiving time.
Yeah. So the song was originally...
Not so much because of all those evil Republicans, right, in their,
climate
global
change.
Warming, yeah.
So the Jingle Bells was supposed to be written for Thanksgiving and not Christmas, but now it's Christmas.
It's a fun fact.
Yeah.
It's cool. I never knew that. Just like maybe 6 weeks from now.
No.
And it's actual. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Well,
it's my segment. I get to choose.
You know what?
It's my segment. I get to choose what the show. I get to choose what the fact is.
I forgot, and I thought for just a second here that this was my show.
It is.
It was the Matt Rooney
show. It's our show.
I forgot whose program this really is.
It's our show.
I'm fine naming it the Matt Rooney Show. Feet, Dan.
No, my name's not.
F-E-A-T period.
My
Dan.
name is not on it at all. So that's why you get different producers because my name's not on it.
That's all right. All this power struggle that happens between you and I, it's the spice of the relationship.
Yeah,
keeps things spicy. Spicy.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to our next guest because I'm looking forward to talking to them. They've been on this program before. They're favorites around here because, it's one thing to have a member of Congress or some, talking head from a national organization call in and expound on the importance of parental rights, but we always prefer to talk to those in the trenches. And who is more in the trenches than school board members in blue states that are having to deal with the edicts of far-left extreme governors like, as our friend Rich Zioli calls him, King Philip the Unaccountable Murphy. Let me catch you up with what's going on in the state of New Jersey very briefly here for those who don't know. Phil Murphy is actively suing multiple New Jersey school districts, and one of them is Middletown because they have the audacity to let parents know if their child is trying to present a different gender identity while they're at school. I believe it's backfiring on the Murphy administration for a number of reasons. As we head into legislative elections, legislators on the Democrat side of the aisle are actively backing away from the administration. There was one Democrat state senator this week, Joe Crine in New Jersey, who openly questioned the logic of these lawsuits. And then there was a major revelation that came out of a North Jersey district that I really want to talk to our guests about. They are Frank Capone and Jackie Tobacco. They are president and I believe vice president, respectively, of the Middletown Board of Education. And guys, I will say for you your disclaimer up front, which I know that school board members always appropriately give when they're on here. You're speaking for yourselves, not for the Middletown Board of Education. Did I do that well?
You did. Thank you.
See, I'm finally learning how to do this whole host thing. How are you guys?
Thanks for protecting us.
Good. It's great to be with you, man, as always.
Well, you guys are big stars now. We just had Joe LaBarbera on a minute ago to talk about that fantastic billboard. I don't know if you guys saw it. I suspect you did. But
I did. Yeah, great.
Yeah, but we got to get one in Middletown. But he was all over Fox News, and you guys have been on Fox News. I have all these Fox celebrities coming on the Matt Rooney Show now. I knew you guys when.
Way back when, before anybody else knew us.
But I'm sure sometimes you wish you weren't because you're on Fox News because your district continues to be targeted by arguably your town's most famous resident. But there was a major development this week, and I know, Jackie, you were tweeting about it yourself from another school district a considerable distance away from Middletown. Can you tell us what a deputy attorney general admitted, Jackie, in court?
Yeah, the deputy attorney general admitted that the policy was never mandatory. There was never a law backing this policy. And it was a bombshell for all of us. I mean, we've been questioning it. We've been doing our best. But an acknowledgement like that we're literally being sued over a policy and have an injunction on us to keep that policy, and it's not even a mandatory policy, is just mind-blowing at this point.
It truly is remarkable. I mean, we're all familiar with the idea of guidance because we had to deal with it during COVID. It's not binding. That's the entire point of it. And yet your district and some others were threatened with state takeover, losing your funding over something that I think was presented by Matt Plack and the Attorney General as being mandatory, and now they're saying, oops, our bad. They even sought attorney's fees on the basis of the idea this is mandatory.
They did. They filed again against Hanover and asked to Hanover's policy was not the same policy that we had made amendments to. Their policy was called the parental notification policy, and our policy is policy 5756, which is the transgender policy. And the AG just wanted to, have a injunction on both of their policies and enjoin the two together, and then asked for the state's legal fees to be paid by the Board of Ed, which is pretty intimidating for the rest of the Board of Eds in the state that are planning on or were planning on repealing this unnecessary policy. So it's a very confusing situation.
And when we talk about attorney's fees, Frank, we're talking about not some distant entity that's called the Board of Education, which has a Scrooge McDuck vault that can just pay these fees without any type of real-world consequences. It's the taxpayers that are being sued by their own government that are ultimately going to have to pay these fees and deal with the consequences of cut aid if the administration is successful in court, correct?
That is correct, Matt. It's funny you're saying this because it must have been about 5-6 weeks ago. The governor was on TV declaring this as some sort of a culture war. Well, number one, that was a terrible thing to say. And if he really wanted to go to war with the parents of New Jersey, he already lost that battle. As you would see from the Monmouth University poll that was out about 2 weeks ago, 61% of Democrats believe in this parental rights issue. I think it was 78 or 80% of independents and 92% of Republicans. So this is by far not a partisan issue. This is what we're talking about, our children. Me and you, we're both parents here. We're going to do anything we can for our children, but we need to be kept in the conversation. We can't be just left out of the loop here.
And I think the latest revelation from Project Veritas, I know you guys must have seen this that came out this week, makes it all the more important that parents remain in the loop. That famous guerrilla journalism organization on the right side of the aisle interviewed a representative of a nonprofit in New Jersey that essentially admitted they're slipping radical gender material into our kids' classroom lessons. And there's a significant caveat there. But Dan, can we play cut number 9 real quick? This is from Project Veritas, everybody.
So, in some instances, for example, when we go to the middle school, they have a class that's called Pathways to Racial Literacy. And so it is, learning a lot about race, ethnicity, so on and so forth. We come in and we teach for 3 days. That class, parents are not allowed to opt their children out of. That's our real, I guess that's our real sort of goal would be to remove opt-out laws or opt-out policies, because right now for a health class, if we came in as a health class, parents could opt their children out.
So, Jackie, we were told when those sex standards first got implemented in New Jersey that, oh, don't worry, if you don't want your kids to be a part of that class, you can just tell the school you don't want them to be, and you'll opt out. But some of us said, hold on a second, it's not going to be that easy, because they're going to be able to apply those standards in classes where you wouldn't even think they'd be talking about things like pronouns. And now we finally have the proof from Project Veritas. Your reaction?
I mean, again, I liken this to, Frank and I have been on the board now. This is our 3rd year, and I feel like it's whack-a-mole, the game whack-a-mole, we defeat one edict and the next one pops up. So this is definitely a case of that. And, we were, again, I will say this, this is why your Board of Ed elections are crucial. The Board of Ed still controls curriculum. The state cannot put in a mandatory curriculum. They can put standards in, and then it's up to your board and your administrators to decide how you implement those standards and how you do that. So we were pretty successful with the sex and health ed curriculum, and we had a very high, I think it was a 97% opt-in from our town. But not every board is doing what we're doing. So these new standards and these new trainings and this new push is literally to get this gender ideology in every single place it can be, whether it's a math question and it's trying to normalize all of this stuff, and it causes more questions than it gives answers to for a lot of children, and for parents it causes a lot of distress. I mean, Frank and I have heard from multiple parents that are very concerned and worried, and people still believe that they have their religious freedom in this country, right? But this is kind of saying like you're being forced to accept whatever the new ideology is, and if there's no balance in something like that, and it's scary, it's dangerous.
It is. It's terrifying, and Frank, I got to think, as many parents prepare to head to the polls this November, some of them are going to be passing judgment in the near future on school board elections. We know the NJEA, which has a very opposite opinion about some of this stuff, is involved in the mix this year, supporting various candidates. What should parents look for when they're evaluating school board candidates to decide whether or not, as Jackie says, they're actually standing up for you and your kids, or maybe they have a very different agenda in mind?
So you see, Matt, and this is a great example. Here in Middletown, we've always had a commitment of always being truthful and transparent with parents and not taking the role of being our students' parents or guardians as elected official in our capacity. I think it's important and consistently to remind the governor and the attorney general that's not what we're supposed to be doing. And luckily and thankfully, they will never be my child's father, and they shouldn't be anybody's parent or father. They should only be implementing their jobs as they do on the state level, not taking over each board, because as Matt Placken stated in his own words, everything should be treated on a case-by-case basis, and that is exactly what our policy reads. So we urge all voters, and here in Middletown especially, you have to always ask yourself, who are the people who are always fighting for you? And myself and Jackie have been there every step of the way for the past 3 years. Who are the people who changed and allowed the children to stop this quarantining of healthy children, of not being home in their rooms behind a TV and instead in their classroom? That was us. That was me and Jackie. We are the ones who've been leading this charge in New Jersey from all the pushback from Trenton and the executive order COVID mandates that actually are starting to bear some fruit now, unfortunately, as well as the fact that the governor is avoiding what we're going through as a state on an educational level, because we are well below the reading and math scores. They have significantly dropped across the board, and now he's just trying to push this secrecy from parents. It's disgusting, it's terrible, and the people and the voters of this state have to be passionate this time around. Get out there and vote, because as Jackie just said, this is the most important, crucial vote of our time across the whole entire state here.
There you have it, folks. It's rare that I'm speechless, but there's nothing it can add to that. It's said better than I ever could. Those are the stakes, and I can vouch for these two. They're fighters, and they just didn't start fighting when this issue became cool and popular. They've been at it from the beginning. They deserve your support. Wish we had them in every single school district in New Jersey and beyond. Jacqueline Tobacco and Frank Capone, New Jersey's, or I should say Middletown's school board. I wish you were on New Jersey school board. Then we get a lot less wackiness out of Trenton. We appreciate you joining us once again on the Matt Rooney Show. I'm sure I'll see you on Fox or Newsmax or somewhere else soon, but definitely keep us in the loop as this fight progresses, please.
Matt, always a pleasure to hear.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Doesn't it make you feel better that there are some people out there that get it and they're fighting the good fight? I know it makes me feel a little less alone in this whole thing, because certainly there are days when you feel like you want to put your own head through the wall. But we're not alone. Sanity does have allies, ladies and gentlemen. You just got to find them and you got to support them. But let's depart from sanity for a second, because this is the part of the program every week as we come up to the end of the third hour when I say, you know what, we've had enough with common sense for the Matt Rooney Show for one day. Let's turn everything over to producer Dan and allow him to take us into the depths of the internet. It's a little segment called...
Okay, guys, gather around.
Gather round.
It's Twit Talk time.
Haven't had one of these in a while.
No, it's been a while.
It's been like 3 weeks, actually, since we've had a Twit Talk.
It has been quite, it's been quite a while.
Got a lot of pent-up Twit Talk energy?
I guess. I haven't been
That's a heck of an endorsement.
I haven't been on TikTok in a while. I've just been busy. But I do have some stuff for you.
Okay, well, do your best. That's all you can do.
Okay. Obviously, I don't like the Eagles.
Yes, you have 2 teams, and neither of them are the Eagles.
Correct. And I think the Eagles fan base is pretty ridiculous. And the fact is, they're the worst fan base in the NFL. Changed my mind. I'm probably going to get shot on the way out of the studio, but like, who really cares, And this,
I don't.
And this proves the fan base is it's second to none because they spelled Eagles wrong. Did you see this?
Who did?
Did you see this on Thursday night?
No, I missed this.
Okay. 2 fans were
The
interviewed.
Eagles, of course, victorious, went 2-0.
Okay, yeah. Well,
just had to add that.
Okay, yeah, that's enough. Fox 29 did an interview. I guess they interviewed 2 people at a bar, and Eagles fans, they didn't even know how to spell Eagles. So just see if you pick up on it, and then let me know what the spelling was.
Go Birds! Let's go Birds! E-L-G-S-E-L-Eagles!
All right. Well, listen. I don't want to disparage that young lady, but do we know what her blood alcohol content was?
Probably.
I mean, after 2 high noons, you can't spell Dan. So
4. I could probably spell, but she spelled it E-L-G-S-E-S. Eagles,
which would actually be pronounced how?
Elgisis.
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 Elgisis. Sounds like a Celtic princess.
Go Birds! Let's go Birds! E-L-G-S-E-L-Eagles!
Oh, God.
Do you know how to spell your last name when you're intoxicated?
It's been a while since I tried, but yeah, I have a hollow leg usually. It takes a lot for me to get to the point where I can't spell or add or subtract.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
remember before I left for Colorado, we talked about Halloween decorations from Home Depot.
Yes.
Well, here's one of the decorations, and here's what it says.
Hi, liberal. Nice haircut. Did you get that haircut from the liberal store?
Did you get that haircut from the liberal store?
There you go. Get your Halloween decorations at Home Depot.
The worst part about Twit Talk tonight is every time I laugh because I got my man cold, I'm like a 6-pack a day smoker. I just start gagging.
I got to drink iced teas too.
Oh God. So what is this person looking at? What kind of haircut were they seeing that made them say this?
I couldn't remember. I got to look at the video again.
That would be important information.
Yeah.
But okay. Funny all the same.
You know the song "In the Club" by 50 Cent?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can find me in the club, that kind of thing. Well, it's resurfaced, and someone made a better version of it. I think it's far superior than the last one. So yeah.
Go, 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 shorty. It's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. We're gonna sip a party like it's your birthday. And we don't give a f. It's not your birthday. You can find me in the club. Bottle full of bub. Look, mommy, I got the extra for you into taking drugs. I'm into having sex. I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug if you're into getting rough. You can find me in the club. Bottle full of bub. Look, mommy, I got the extra you into taking drugs. I'm into having sex. I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug if you like to get rough.
It's kind of like an opera version.
Yeah, it was a little operatic. My happy birthday to you was better.
Was it?
Yeah. 9 out of 10 Matt Rooney's agree.
I don't know, yours was kind of creepy.
Total. Well, you said you like creepy, spooky stuff, bud.
Yeah, I did.
What's creepier than me singing happy birthday to you like Marilyn Monroe? That's pretty terrifying.
That's what it was.
Happy Halloween.
I was literally trying to think of who said happy birthday like that, and I was like,
Yeah,
I can't think. It was Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe to Jack Kennedy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
To
Okay.
you.
New version of Rock Lobster as well, just released. Again, far superior.
Death to America and butter sauce. Don't boil me. I'm still alive. A rock lobster. A rock lobster.
Iraq lobster.
For those that are new to the Matt Rooney Show, and I know some of you are, the best part or the worst part, depending upon your perspective, if it's me, it's the worst part of Twit Talk, is Dan will stare at me while playing these inane clips to see how uncomfortable or weirded out I am. It's a terrible segment. It really is, and I should have cut this off a long time ago, but it is what it is. He threatens to quit when I try to cut it.
No, I don't.
You do.
We all have we've all seen weird laughs in our day, right? Like we all, heard one. Was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, that was a little bit much, forced,
Yeah, well,
awkward.
Yeah, well,
I'm not slow, but I'm slow.
Like slow, like a bimbo type of slow, like
Right.
ditzy?
What is that?
Like ditzy, like, I don't know.
you know what ditzy is, right?
Do I ever?
Okay.
I'd probably have to Google that definition because I don't want to offend or say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Okay, bimbo via Google is an attractive but unintelligent or frivolous young woman.
Hold on. I know that young lady.
Oh, God.
It's you.
I knew that was coming.
That's uncanny.
That actually, that does sound.
Yeah. It's like the same person.
Porky in a dress. that's Porky Pig in a dress.
Porky Pig in a dress.
Old people just need to get off TikTok. I think old people just really need to hang it up. You know,
They want to feel young.
It
They
would
wanna
be a
connect-
better.
They want to connect with the kids.
It would be a better time if they got off. But
Anybody ever seen Porky in the dress? This is a real live Porky in the dress. Need to lose some weight. Oink, oink, oink. I'm bad. Oink, oink, oink. I'm bad. Porky. I eat way too much with the Porky. That's why I'm Porky. Porky.
It's highly unlikely, but if I ever see Chris Christie in person again,
Porky.
Sloppy Chris Christie.
Did you see, by the way, that Fatty McThunder Biscuits, Chris Christie's threatening to basically stalk Donald Trump all over the country?
yeah,
Did you guys cover that on the morning show?
Yeah, wherever he goes,
Yeah.
Chrissy's going.
Yeah, that's not creepy.
The guy
at
just
all.
needs to get him a KFC bucket and just let him go.
Yeah, exactly.
Get him like one of those pizza challenges, like the big pizzas that you have to eat.
One of the ones that comes with breadsticks, some kind of dipping sauces.
Well, no, I meant like a pizza challenge. It's like a huge, like 15-foot pizza or something like that. Like
Just
literally
to occupy him.
Just to occupy him. Yeah,
Yeah.
just give it to him.
Anything.
We also haven't had Theo Vaughn in a while, so I think we're gonna end it off with Theo Vaughn.
Oh, I'd like that.
Yeah.
Me and my wife tried out a threesome with another girl, and turns out she likes girls now. And then we tried a threesome with another dude, and it turns out I kind of like dudes, so we're thinking about going our separate ways. What would you do?
Well, y'all gay, bruh.
Oh, the homespun wisdom of Theo Vaughn.
Y'all gay, bruh.
That was the whole clip. Like, I wish there was more, but that was the whole clip. It was just 20 seconds.
It was a short journey of self-discovery, wasn't it? For that gentleman.
Well, y'all gay, bro.
Did the guy respond?
I have no idea.
Oh, that's right, because Theo Von's show, doesn't he play the clips, but they're not live?
Yeah, they're pre-recorded clips.
Yeah.
You can call in, and then
Yeah.
then he responds them. So yeah. So I guess
Well,
they're gay. I guess
He's gay. I think in this mixed-up, confused world, we can at least say that much.
Yeah,
that guy is gay. I guess we got more news for you too. It's the end of the show.
Thank God.
Don't say that. Great program. Who packs more into 3 hours than we do? We pack information to 3 hours like Chris Christie packs White Castle hamburgers into his stomach. And I enjoy doing it. Not the White Castle hamburger part. Packing the information entertainment into our show. Thank you to our listeners, our viewers over on YouTube, to producer Dan for everything he does. And until next week, stay safe, stay sane, and keep doing everything you can to fight for this greatest nation in God's creation. It's worth it.
That tune. When I'm back on top in June, I said that's life.
When you need to know, depend on